Greetings and welcome to Unveiling Reality. How's everybody doing out there? Good to see each and every one of you. Hope you're all doing and living well this evening. Do I got everything set up right? Hold on a second. Yeah. Okay, we're good. We're good. All right. And welcome to the show. Let me start by thanking all those awesome people out there in the winner's circle who are supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Thank you so much. And your support is greatly appreciated, and a special thanks to Shelly and Wolfram, who also supports over on Rumble and X. We are broadcasting live tonight on Rumble, X, and YouTube. And away we go. All right, tonight's the big night. This is the night he said disclosure was going to happen. And okay, I'm still getting that that flash. All right, we're good now. All right. Anyways, sorry, I'm having a little technical difficulties. Anyways, thank you for being here. And we're supposed to be getting our big disclosure tonight. Has anybody heard anything yet? Because you guys are part of the research team, and you will be part of us finding out when this actual news gets released. But until that time, we will go down the rabbit hole, the Dr. Stephen Greer rabbit hole again, and we'll have some fun, and we'll look at some different things, some different aspects. We'll go into his deep, dark history. We'll pull up some old episodes from the UFO alien rabbit hole series, going into some of his past hijinks. We'll talk about the CE5 thing that he started and how he started it and why. And we'll also talk about his Sirius documentary. And this guy never stops. He never stops. But this time he may have actually jumped the shark with this. We'll see, because he saw an opportunity with the drone sighting hysteria that was going on at the end of the year, and he made a point to get out there and make sure that he was known once again. And now he's put it all on the line, saying that he will that multiple class he's made multiple claims that high-level whistleblowers will emerge from classified black sites with groundbreaking evidence of extraterrestrial contact and government cover-ups. That's what's supposed to happen today. And as we've learned, as we've watched in this interview with Dana Carvey and David Spade, which I did a 2-part series on in the Drone Apocalypse 2024 Unveiling Reality series, that has a playlist that you can access. The links they should be, yeah, they are. You just have to scroll down a little bit, but they are in the description. I put them down below the actual description there. So they're in between the description and the schedule. If you scroll down, all 3 playlists are there that you can find this type of information on, including my most recent one, Decoding Dr. Stephen Greer Forever, which includes those two parts of that interview, those 2 streams I did, and this one as well. I don't know if there's any more. It might be another one on there. I don't know. Anyways, this will be on there as well. So how you doing, guys? Let's say hello to the crowd. Heidi, thank you for dropping these links. Thank you. We got Wolfram. We got everybody's got their zebra badges on just in case tonight. It's a good idea. Good idea. Shelly's here. Kay's here. Hi, guys. How's it going? Wolfram, thank you for dropping these links. Remember, when you're here, to always listen to the wolf. And to have your zebra badges ready. and he wipes his paws, he lopes in, and he howls. And the Alpha Mod is here. He knows what he's talking about, so make sure you listen. All right. Guys, what's going on? Who else is here? Piehead Kitty's here. All right, cool. How you doing, man? How you doing? Shelly's saying hello to the Rumblers out there. Thank you for being here on Rumble. Remember, Rumble algorithm is all about thumbs up, so make sure you hit those thumbs up when you come by, even if it's just for a minute. It really does help, and us small creators really do appreciate it. Those of us who don't have extensive deals with Rumble. Kenny, what's up? I want to interview live with you who I am and the journey in March, not April. Okay, cool. Let me know. Let's see. Okay. So lots to going on tonight. If you are stopping in, please drop a link. Appreciate it. Mark that. All right. As we are sliding in sideways here. Make sure I got that out of the way. And I think if I get this further away from me, I won't get that red flash that keeps coming up. I don't know if it's me or you guys see it too. It's like every now and then everything just turns red. It's like I'm like, what is this? Where is this coming from? Is it the background? I mean, do I have to get rid of the background? I may need to get rid of the background because, like, see, like all of a sudden it's turned red for some reason. And I don't know what it is. Like it just started happening. So I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to get it right. Okay. I have no idea why it's doing that. See, is it doing it over here too? I think it's just the red background, man. It's the strangest thing. Hmm. We'll see. It will bug me though until I figure it out. I think it's coming from right there. Let me see if I did this. Would it stop? It's probably what it is. No matter how far I turn it away, I'm gonna have to figure out a new way to do this. All right. All right, there we go. I'll stop messing with it now. All right, guys, let's go. Let's go. Memento Mori, what's up, my friend? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you being here. All right, we're going to get into this. Where in the world is Stephen Greer tonight? He's supposed to be disclosing this big announcement. And as like I said, we've gone through in the past, right? He said that basically, let's do a recap here. Let's just pull the recap up on screen. And we will get the full rundown here from our assistant, our great assistant, known as Grog. And basically said, go out there and find me a summary of the whole recent thing. And basically, you know, the word UFOologist, it's got its own connotations, doesn't it? I heard this isn't the greatest view, but if you guys can see it better, it is the greatest view. That's all I can say. All right. So, founder of the Disclosure Project, a word which he has made famous. And when people talk about it, a lot of them don't realize that, you know, they're just repeating what he said. Has recently claimed that the surge in drone sightings across the United States, particularly in New Jersey, is part of a government-orchestrated psychological operation. According to Greer, these drone activities are a distraction from the decades-old covert government programs involving advanced technologies, including those of reverse engineer from extraterrestrial crafts. Here are the key points from his assertions, right? And we'll have a couple different takes on this as well. But the government cover up Greer alleges that the government is using these drone sightings to create a false narrative. So what he's saying is Mo Eb before inauguration, basically within the next 3 days. Yeah. Well, he said the 15th. He said 15 days from this thing. So we're gonna start it off tonight. The watch is on. But yeah, do you think that this is gonna happen or not? Do you believe it? What do you think, Mo? What do you think? And thanks for being here over on X. I'm trying to regrow my channel. I had a 1,800 person follower channel that got taken down by X, and I can't reach a human being to put it back up. They said I was counterfeiting goods, but I don't ever sell any goods or do anything with such on my channel, so I don't know what it is, and I can't talk to a human to get it back. So I'm trying to regrow my X channel. So I appreciate if you follow. Um, but he alleges these. So basically, what he's saying is that everybody that's out there flying drones or whatever, these are all part of a government cover up. If God wills it, well, I guess that'd be. I guess that's true. That's a. I guess that's true about a lot of things. But yeah, going into his story, did you happen to catch the interview he did with David Spade and Dana Carvey? I covered that interview line by line, and his story seemed to change throughout. Trying to get a handle on it, but there are some things in there that are seem like are straight out of his own imagination. We're going to go back into his past tonight to see where he got this inspiration to start this disclosure thing way back when. And a lot of people don't realize that it started with his CE5 CSETI initiative from way back when. You know, he was just an emergency room doctor, basically, is what he is. And then he goes back to talking about how he was at 17, had a near-death experience, and lifted up into the cosmos and had conversations with entities. And then later on in life saw a UFO. And then he claims to have been abducted and then created these protocols, as he calls them, for contact and whatnot. And so we're going to watch an interview from the infamous Gaia Network, where all the UFO grifters seem to end up. It's like this one big conglomeration of everybody who claims to have evidence or seen something or does or somehow involved in some deep secret thing. He's not always aligned with everybody there, but and everybody there is not always aligned with each other either. But they're all kind of selling the same story. But I did a full. It's in the description here on YouTube. A full series, 10 stream series on the UFO alien rabbit hole, which takes you from the indoctrination of the idea to the idea that aliens have been here, have created this, have done anything that has to do with us, and takes you all the way through to the landing point in the Gaia networks, where all these people kind of conglomerate. Someone got an idea to put everything together and into that name. And it takes you through all the rabbit holes. So you go from ancient aliens to disclosure projects to Galactic Federation of Light lore, and many other aspects of it, including how they get tied into UAP drone sightings, anything like that. So anything that is unidentifiable automatically gets associated with aliens now. And I've even gone as far as in my Drone Apocalypse series, Drone Apocalypse 2024, talking about how this is a perfect, this always has been a perfect cover up for advanced technologies, military technologies that are being worked on. As all they have to do is say they don't understand or don't know what it is, whether they do or not. And the people who are into the UFO stuff come out of the woodwork claiming it's aliens, and the narrative takes off. So we're kind of just tracking that as we go, and we're trying to get to the bottom of it. Yeah, if you watch the interview, he from the start of the interview to the end of the interview, the story itself, it gets grandiose, I guess. It gets more and more details that aren't part of the initial description get put in there and put in there and put in there. We went through it line by line, like literally line by line. So his story before Inauguration Day, sure. But he also said within 30 days, and that interview was 30 days ago. So and he also said that he had been in contact with hold on. It also said that he had been in contact with every administration, which means he's already talked to the Trump administration in 2016. Yet nothing ever gets done. It means he's been in contact with the Biden administration and was in contact with Biden as part of the Obama administration for 8 years. But these are never proven. Like, it's never proven that he's ever in contact with any of these people. Right? He's never out there supporting the rallies. People never mention his name that are part of it. These are just things that he says, yet we never get any evidence that he's actually a part of any of it. So he could say that all day long, right? But that he's running around the country debriefing. Why is he an expert? He's a doctor. He's a doctor that started a new age alien contact kind of meditation, which we're going to look at here in a little bit. I got videos on that. We're going to take a look at that and see where he got his origins. And we're going to see what this meditation actually involves, right? And how he goes about it. Now, there have been people who have paid money to go on these meditation journeys with Dr. Greer, believing fully that they're going to be able to make contact with UFOs or aliens. And they come out of these things very disappointed. They said that he's very bossy, very controlling when they're there live with him. And he's guiding and basically steering the whole thing the entire time, that no contact ever made. And basically you're sitting around on a beach humming and meditating, yet all you see is some like lights off the coast, that where a boat has been said to be seen launching up flares and lanterns of such. These are from people who have actually been caught up in it and have come out and said, hey, look, I went and paid good money to this dude. And that's what came out of it. And then we also have the Sirius documentary, where he made a lot of money on documentary. It was a pay-per-view documentary, like I think $15-20 or something like that at the time. And he supposedly said he had an alien corpse. Turned out to be a human corpse, just a malformed baby human corpse, mummified, right? That was then autopsied, right? And did DNA, but he made a huge documentary about that. He made a big deal. That was called Sirius. We're going to take a look at that as we go along tonight too. We are keeping our eyes out for any kind of disclosure and before Inauguration Day. So if it doesn't happen before Inauguration Day, there's a couple of different outs I think he's already starting to put out there. One of them being that the Las Vegas bomber was one of his contacts, one of the guys, but it's very convenient now that he's not around. And that's very, I don't know what you want to call that, man. But if you were to take, to basically take someone who had been through something like that and did something like that, and then spin them into a new narrative, I would feel like that was very defamatory. And if I was to get wind of that as a relative of this person, or a close family member or something like that, I would be very seriously interested in defamation, because that's just adopting someone's grave for basically your purpose. It's basically that says that doesn't say very good things about you if that's the kind of person that you are. And I would think that, and even for people that really want to believe in the UFO thing and the alien thing, I really want something in this world to kind of stir up and get exciting and to have these things he's promised. Like, for instance, 0 point energy is a big thing, right? So he gets a lot of people excited about 0 point energy, because that would mean the end of oil and dominance and people who own oil and their dominance over people. And it gets a lot of people who are sick and tired of the, certain things in this world, very excited the fact that they can have free energy. And with free energy, all kinds of things are possible, right? You don't have to pay that electric bill anymore, right? And you don't have to pay any of those bills anymore. And that sounds pretty damn cool. But they do talk about this in this rundown of his recent interviews. And we went through it, like, as I said, line by line, and we dissected that interview. And the thing with Stephen Greer is this: you have to slow him down. You have to slow him down, and you have to really pay attention to what's going on in the interview. Like, if you did watch the Dana Carvey, David Spade interview, you'll notice that he never answered one question, right? And I went through that like line by line. I backed it up, asked the crowd here on YouTube, if you want to come join us over here. I went through it. I backed it up. I backed it up sometimes two or three times in the same spot, just to make sure I heard things right and make sure that we got it down. And then sometimes it was just hilarious. Like, he claimed that he was offered $2 billion in the 90s by Army intelligence not to go through with his CE5 project, which is the Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind meditation to contact aliens project, right? And we're going to listen to him explain this. So this is just the build up for the whole evening right here. I'm going to lay out receipts and interviews and everything else, everything I'm talking about right now, right, as we run through it. And of course, we're going to be on a high alert for the occurrence that a zebra alert may go down. Now, that's another thing he claimed happened. That and here, let me just go ahead and let me pull this down, because I got off track, but I'll go back to it. Let me pull this up and just remind the crowd what triggers according to Stephen, a zebra alert. Now, this was from the Dana Carvey David Spade interview right here. And I do have a lot of military in my chat right here on YouTube. These are veterans. These are people that have served. These are people that understand the truth about the military. And I even had a Navy veteran in here the other night, and we talked to him about Zebra Alert. In fact, we'll just do the Zebra Alert segment right now, since we need to get that underway. And we're talking about this claim that he made. And here he is in his own words talking about it. So let's let the man himself speak. Here you go.
Animal panic. They went to a full code Zebra Alert, which means if you don't have a zebra badge on your lapel, the Marines with M16s kill everyone in there who shouldn't be in there. And they didn't know what this thing was. And so he got on the hotline to Moscow. It wasn't ours. Animal panic. They went to a full code.
Okay, so that was the clip, right? So that's pretty much where he disclosed to Dana Carvey and David Spade. Stop. Let me stop that. Okay. That our own military are killing our own military when a Zebra Alert comes off. So that's very interesting. And I think a lot of the people that are in the military here found that very interesting as well. That if a Zebra Alert goes off and you don't have one of these zebra badges like T-Rex is showing you right here on your lapel and you're live there, you're gonna get shot in the face by a Marine any second. I mean, everybody's friends and then everybody ain't. And that's because they just see something they don't understand. And then they call Moscow. They call from the base or their main base, they call Moscow our enemies and say, what the hell's going on? Like, does that make any sense to you? Honestly, think about it yourself. See, one thing I talk about here is it's like, information-based abuse, like, and how people can abuse other people with information in order to get their consent or get their money or get something from them, right? The establishment does it all the time. We're highly against the establishment here, the mainstream media and all that stuff, right? And they use information-based mind control. And then you've seen this in other people. You've seen it happen to them. You've seen the way they shut down. They don't listen anymore. They refuse to look at any kind of truth, any kind of facts, dispute their belief systems. Well, the same thing happens in the alternative narrative with people who do use the same techniques but different outcomes, right? So one of these things is like you go on a podcast with millions of people viewing you, right? And you start spewing nonsense about the military that is not true, accusing our own soldiers of attacking each other, right? Of shooting each other with M16s because some admiral decides there's a Zebra Alert because something flies by they don't understand. This doesn't make any sense. So this is one of the many things in that interview that Greer pulled out of his ass, I believe. And it's, to the people who served, it's a disgrace and it's abusive. So I like to call it out. I mean, I don't know if he wants to Steven wants to clarify that. He never will. He skims past it. In fact, he was talking about, he'd been asking a completely different question when he went into the story about the Zebra Alert, right? So he avoided the question. He avoided all questions, direct questions, like, will these stop or, anything like that. He avoided it with other stories that were supposedly emotionally triggering and were personal about him. He says that he had 3 of his people killed, but showed no emotion about it whatsoever. Was just blank about the fact that he was personally responsible for having 3 people killed in his own group by the secret groups. And it went from 1 group to 2 groups over the course of the interview. Right. So there were 2 groups, and now he's the main guy because he's a surgeon, right? That is making the handshake between this black ops group that has 1,000 years ahead of us, alien technology that can go multiple times the speed of light. That's black ops, black budget, right? But not military, but corporate, right? But it's about a black budget from the military and the government. And see, it doesn't make any sense. And nothing he says actually adds up if you take it line by line. Let me just go into a little bit of education about what a full code Zebra Alert is, right? And let me just make sure this doesn't do anything screwy here. All right, here we go. So I looked this up, and I wanted to get to the bottom of it. So let me see. Okay, so what is condition? It's really called condition Zebra in the Navy. And I can't remember the dude's name that was here. He was new. But he came in the other night, and he was a Navy veteran. He was talking about, we were familiar with the condition Zebra, the Zebra Alert. Zebra Greer says full code Zebra Alert. This is what a condition Zebra is in the Navy, not to be confused with Operation Cyber Condition Zebra, right? Condition zebra in the U.S. Navy refer to a specific state of readiness regarding the ship's security measures. It is one of the various conditions that dictate the level of alertness and security protocols on a naval vessel. Okay, he was talking about being at a base. One, he's talking about Marines being there with M16s at the ready to shoot anybody who doesn't have a zebra on their lapel. And key points about the condition zebra is the purpose of a condition zebra is to implemented during a heightened security threat or in response to a potential boarding or attack. It is designed to prevent unauthorized access to ensure the safety of personnel in sensitive areas on the ship. I don't think shooting people with M16s is ensuring safety, but access control under condition zebra access to certain areas of the ship is restricted. This is not a base, it's a ship we're talking about. Only authorized personnel may enter specific sections, and all points, entry points are secured. So, I mean, from just his description, he said the Admiral panic. It sounds like the Navy, but he was talking about being at a base on a ship. These are some of the other mistakes he makes because he's not a military guy. He's a doctor who started a new age alien contact group back in the 90s, right? And this escalated from there. And again, we're going to go back into the backstory where actually he came about this because of some claim about a near-death experience he had and some things that went on in his head during that time that he swears that were true, right? It couldn't have been anything else, but it, actually happened in his opinion. So with standings, increased vigilance is required from the crew, particularly those assigned to security watches. They may need to conduct more frequent patrols and maintain heightened situational awareness. Emergency procedures. Crews are trained to respond to various emergency scenarios that could occur under a condition zebra, not full code zebra alert, but condition zebra, including potential firefighting, damage control, or counterterrorism measures. Hierarchy of conditions. Condition zebra is typically one of the severe conditions, with condition red, general quarters, being another level of readiness, often associated with immediate combat situations. Overall, condition zebra is essential part of the Navy security protocol, ensuring that ships can effectively respond to threats and maintain operational integrity. Did you see anything about a zebra badge in there? I didn't. Okay, so John Mooney, most upvoted here response. John Mooney was a former engineer of the USS John F. Kennedy for 38 months at the United States Navy, 1977, 1980. And David Witherall, former electronics technician, second class at United States Navy, 82 to 88, author, has, okay, so here we go. By Richard Ashmore. So he puts this out there. This is by Richard Ashmore. Every door, hatch, valve, and other fitting on the ship is labeled with an X, Y, and Z. Anything with an X label is always closed. This is called condition X-ray. When the ship leaves port, the ship will set condition yoke. With all doors, hatches, and other fittings with a Y label are closed. Where? Not to be open until we again set condition X-ray. If we have a fire or go into combat conditions, general quarters, we can set condition zebra, and all doors, hatches, and other fittings with the Z label will now be closed. Now, this is coming from people who are actually in the Navy, right? People who have actually served our country. When condition zebra is set, the whole ship becomes a whole bunch of separate compartments filled with air. In other words, even though a ship is made of steel, it cannot sink. If it cannot sink. If there is damage in one part of the ship, even in the compartment next to where you are, you cannot open those doors or hatches. The fire or flood or smoke or gas cannot be moved into other compartments and endangering the rest of the ship. It may seem horrible to those who have not seen it work, but every compartment has sprinklers and other firefighting and damage control equipment. At worst, a few may die to save the rest. This is why it's called damage control. Damage cannot expand to the rest of the ship. Generally, the ship goes into general quarters. That's what our friend who came in the other night from the Navy said. The bridge will ring the alarm bell and announce that general quarters, not zebra alert. All hands man your battle stations. You will now have 3 minutes to get to your battle stations, no matter where you are on the ship. After that 3 minutes have passed, the bridgeman now set condition zebra, and wherever you are, you will stay there. Okay. Nothing about Marines shooting you in the face. Nothing about having a zebra on your lapel. So where does Greer come up with this shit? Right. And what gives him the right to go out there and say it as if he knows, right? And defame the military for turning on its own members. That's what I took away from that whole zebra alert bullshit they said, right? That doesn't build a lot to his credibility at all. At all. You know, that's kind of like goes, you know, there's strike one. So I mean, but obviously nothing he's ever said has come true. And that's the other thing about Greer, right? He baits the hook and he drags people along and drags them along. And so we're giving him a chance, right? I give him a chance. He's got now till inauguration day to come out with something. If he comes out with something, you better bet I'll be back. But I'm setting up that or, you know, maybe tonight, maybe he'll be on schedule for once and actually come out when he says 30 days. He means 30 days, not just blowing bullshit up with Danny Carvey's ass and David Spade's ass, right? Well, of course they bought into it because they're just Hollywood actors and they don't know what the hell's going on anyways. So they're like, oh wow, this is mind blowing. My mind's blown. I'm very scared now. So where were we? We were talking about whistleblower. Okay, so he said the government covered up, right? So he's alleging that people have been running around with drones in New Jersey and other places. Hey, Blue Lantern, what's up? Blue butterfly. Whoa, blue butterfly. Sorry, we had a blue lantern and I just skimmed that really fast. How you doing, blue butterfly? Good to see you. Anybody else sneaking here while I was talking? Scott Hotbeck, what's up? And I didn't say hello to you yet. 357, what's going on, my friend? How you doing? Good to see you. T-Rex Truck, and I said hello to you. How you doing, my friend? I'm glad you're here. Sir Frank Otter, what's up? How you doing, my friend? I'm glad you guys are all here for this very special night. We're just ready for this. But everybody understands the seriousness of a full code zebra alert now. I know you do. And be at the ready. Remember, don't talk without your zebra badge on, or you could get, you know, taken out, right? And we have to comply with the rules. We have to comply with the rules, and that's what we'll do. So he's alleging that these drone sightings are a false narrative of an alien threat. It's a false narrative of an alien threat or invasion. And again, as we pointed out in that interview with David Spade, and who said they were aliens, except for Stephen Greer and a few other people that are out there that wanted to be aliens. Nobody said that. There's no proof of it, right? And like I said, anytime it's unknown, people now are programmed to automatically default to aliens, or some are, right? But at no time has anybody doubted that these were drones. Throughout. That was one of the main things about this whole run this time, is that we were pretty damn sure these were drones, no matter what they were. Now, in Drone Apocalypse 2024, that series I did, I pointed out, I had this big board we went through, we gathered information, we gathered facts, we put things in buckets, right? And we noted that these drones that people are seeing all have FAA lighting on them, right? Which you wouldn't find on a military drone, which you wouldn't find on any kind of top secret drone. But these were out in plain sight. So Stephen can call that a PSYOP for people, or we can call that a lot of people flying drones, right? Out at night, trying to maybe find drones, maybe just Christmas time comes around, people start ordering stuff. And all of a sudden they come in the mail and they want to try them out. Like, why wouldn't you want to try out your new DJI drone, right? Who has the same lighting patterns as a lot of things. And then people see them, they zoom on them, take a shaky video, take a blurry picture, put it out there, and people are like, they're everywhere. Well, a lot of people buy drones, you know, and Christmas, a lot of people buy them for Christmas. And that's why they seem to always occur. However, there was an alternative narrative that I talked about too, the unreported narrative, which is what's been happening over our bases, which are not connected to the New Jersey FAA lighted drones that people were reporting on TikTok and YouTube and blowing out of proportion. So what we came to the conclusion on was there's a bunch of narratives jumbled into one. And while there may be something going on over military bases, be it a foreign adversary that's that's reverse engineered our technology and is now using it to see do penetration tests with to see what it can get away with, see what it can find out. We went into looking at how the drones are being actually used in warfare right now in Ukraine. We did a deep dive on that, so we got all of our information. So if you're just joining us for the first time, Drone Apocalypse 2024 playlist in the description. That's your key to kind of getting the backstory on what my crowd here, out here in the crowd, the live crowd I got. They know this because they were there for that series, right? And some of those were videos and some of them were live streams. Are basically over the holiday, I recorded some live streams and played them as premieres. So that's what it was. But this crowd here has been through this whole ride with me. So they get a lot of what I'm saying. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of backfilling for the rewatchers. And I'm backfilling for anybody that is watching over on Rumble or X that doesn't quite understand the depth of research and understanding that we have about this topic right now, because we have put a lot of work into it. And one thing we never do here, and I'll just play this, take a short little interlude here as I talk. One thing we never do here is this. We never jump the shark. And as I tell people, I'm not here I will confirm your bias, but I will walk with you to the truth. If you want to hang out, you're in the right spot for that. If you feel like the truth's more important than the truth and to be right, you're in the right spot for that too. Some people have a hard time disconnecting with old belief systems, and I understand that. That's a challenge, and it's in front of you. If that's something that you find yourself involved in, it's one that many people have had to overcome. And again, you're in the right place if you want to overcome that too, because I completely understand it. In fact, my whole thing is set up to help you get past it, right? To roadmap you past it and to show you what's on the other side of what we call the second veil of the alternative narratives. Not to say that that people have everything wrong. It's just that people take things to the extreme when they don't have the answers that they want. So, and the imagination fills in a lot. And then there's some people out there that are just out to abuse you. They're just out to take your money. They're just out to make you into their useful idiot, much like the establishment narrative. The establishment does, the corrupt establishment does. There are people out there that just want your clicks and your attention and your views, and that get money from that. That's where a lot of these grifts come on, and that's where a lot of these people that have these alien stories or these new agey kind of things end up on the Gaia network, and they're making a lot of money over there. I'm going to show you some Gaia network stuff here in a little bit. Again, all things I documented in my Unveiling Reality UFO Alien Rabbit Hole series. It's 10 series. We're going to go back and look at some of those tonight, specifically the ones on Greer and that stuff right there is key information to deprogramming basically a lot of disinformation that conspiracy grifters have put out there, right? And that the establishment is happy to let them do because it runs cover for their military testing of new military technologies, right? And we find out a lot of times these things coincide with something new they're working on. So make no doubt about it, there's always something new they're working on, the latest technologies. And UFOs and people like Stephen Greer and others, they run perfect cover for the military industrial complexes work on the latest and greatest military weaponry. What's up out there, guys? It's going to be a little bit of this tonight and a little bit of that tonight, but I want to make sure I keep you guys engaged and involved. You guys keeping an eye out there for me to anything that may be coming out from Stephen Greer, anything on his YouTube, his X, any kind of disclosure announcements. Just keep an eye out there and just pop in the chat or let Shelly know, and she'll pop in my ear, and we'll go straight to it. One thing we're not doing tonight is listening to Joe Biden's farewell address, because screw him, man. It reminded me of that Motley Crue song, "Girl, Don't Go Away Mad, Just Go Away." Right? So just go away. I'll talk about it Thursday night. I hope he gaffs it up, but I'm not going to give him his last word when he wants it. We got something more important going on, guys. Gosh darn it. Stephen Greer said we got a disclosure coming, right? So we got to be on alert because the 1,000-year ahead technology that they only use to troll us once a year, and the 0 point at the technology that they've been hiding from us in their underground bunkers, making their damn coffee and their microwave pot burritos with, right? We're going to get all that soon, according to him. Of course, we've heard that before, haven't we? We'll see if it comes through, and we'll listen to what some other people have to say about it. Let me go ahead and get through reading this right now, and so we can move on to the video segments. Whistleblower revelation. So anyways, yeah, so that was the thing that he alleged that everyone you see is somehow part of the government PSYOP, and that doesn't make any sense because we know that there are people out there flying their own drones. So that and they're getting caught up, and we know that 95 to 99% of the reports were turned out to be just regular aircraft. So very, very few were noted as unidentifiable, right? And none that came through were the ones that were over the military bases. They were just people. Oh, they want the car-sized drone flew over my house, and then we had the politicians come running out, pre-programmed by the Pentagon to say, basically handled, right, controlled opposition handled, to say, we got missing nuclear materials, missing nuclear warhead. None of that was true. And it was all literally being debunked as it was being said. Yet they still ran through with it, and people still bought into it and believed it. Well, where is it now? Where is it now? Where'd they all go? So anyways, he said these operations include the development of highly advanced technologies like electromagnetic EMP weapons. Where's the simple prepper? Which have been used to target and study extraterrestrial craft since the incidents in Roswell. So since Roswell, according to Greer, we've had EMPs, and we've been bringing those nasty aliens down and taking their stuff, and they haven't done a damn thing about it. What a bunch of wusses, right? Whistleblower revelations. Greer has revealed that insiders from 6 classified black sites plan to come forward within the next 30 days with evidence, including photos and videos, to expose these secretive programs. Yeah, so he's, remember when he said that the orbs were actually they were going phasing in and out of our dimension? That was part of that interview too he did with Dana Carvey and David Spade. It was in there. We slowed it down. We listened to it. We re-listened to it. Yeah, that's what he said. He said that they're so similar to alien technology, but like anybody's seen alien technology. You see what I'm saying? These are the grifts that he pulls all the time. Like when you say to someone, it's similar to the alien technology, it's indistinguishable. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Where does their mind go? This is a psychological game, right? Where does their mind go? We've never seen alien technology, right? We've only seen Hollywood alien technology. We've only seen conspiracy grifter alien technology that they've either made up or they fabricated. And another thing about Greer is his associations. We're going to get that too. Third phase of moon. These guys are old school UFO grifters that would make some of the worst UFO grifty content out there. Was his main producers in these movies. How about that? Isn't that neat? Anyways, man, Monty could have made $1 million. Let's see. All right, here we go. So anyways, these whistleblowers, Greer include photos, and these whistleblowers are reporting from high-ranking positions within the military and corporate structures. You see, it even confuses the AI when you ask for a summary, because he kept going. He started out with military, and then halfway through his story with Dana Carvey and David Spade, it turned into corporate, and then it turned into mostly corporate. So he kept, this is what I'm saying, he kept embellishing the story as he went along. And if you listen to it with objectively, like, I'm going to figure out whether this dude's like blowing smoke up my ass or not. I'm not going to go in there with any kind of, I'm not going to have a bias. I'm not going to give him any kind of credibility up front either. I'm going to say, you have to convince me in this interview that what you're saying is plausible and in some way, shape, or form. My question is why isn't he dead yet? If this is real, he'd already be dead, right? I mean, is that right? But but he has special security that he can't mention. That was brought up in the interview as well. Special security protocols that I can't mention, but I'm sure at the end he's going to say that the aliens are watching him, or they're watching after him. He's got, because according to him, the aliens have all the Star Trek technology. Isn't that convenient? How it just meets with human being sci-fi perfectly, right? But also, these guys, these black ops guys, that are the whistleblowers from high-ranking positions within military corporate structures, aiming to reveal a shadow government that operates outside public and democratic oversight. Why did I say that? Public and governmental oversight, right? That these guys have gone so rogue, right? that they're beyond any military on the face of the earth by 1,000 years. Now, why wouldn't you, Scott? You ask a great question, right? Why isn't he dead yet? They could just teleport into his room, according to him, and teleport him to the moon and drop him off. We'd never find him. I mean, that's what he's saying. He's saying that they have that level of technology, yet the only time they use it is to pull PSYOPs on us poor suckers out here in the world, right? One time a year around Christmas. Between Thanksgiving and Christmas, right? They pulled this game on us. Right? They do this to us because, you know, that's the kind of fun they have on those underground bases. Besides abducting, well, another story that came out of the interview is that they had abducted people in what was it, Somalia or something like that, that had gone through a tsunami earthquake. And these were people that had lost everything, and they were literally flying around in a hexagonal levitating ship. And this comes from firsthand whistleblower Marine that came across them. And they were abducting people, and they were going to take them to these underground bases to experiment them on. Same underground bases that have aliens in them that they have shot down. They shoot at least two UFOs down a year. This is all stuff that Greer has said in that interview. If you listen to that interview, you listen to my breakdown of that interview in Drone Apocalypse parts 3 and 4, you can see his face on the thumbnail. You can't miss it, right? If you listen to those, I break all of this down. So this is where I'm pulling this information from. And the reason why it sounds so sporadic is because that's the way he tells the damn story, right? You have to slow this guy down, right? But we're waiting for disclosure, damn it. Steven, what are you waiting for? Why not be on time for once with your disclosure? You know, it's like, why do you say things and then they don't happen, right? But anyways, let's finish reading this. I'm gonna digress all night long. All right, so they're saying that these guys are part of a rogue group. He said rogue over and over again, a rogue group, right? That is off the reservation. They got military people that are there. They got corporate people that are there. They got a corporate structure, and they got money like you wouldn't believe. And they got technology and 0-point energy, yet all they do is hide in underground bases and I don't know, just make more stuff. They make more stuff, and then once a year they come out and they troll us. Psychological warfare. The drone sightings, as per Greer, are not only a diversion, but also an attempt at psychological warfare, creating confusion and fear amongst the public. Well, they did do that, but it wasn't because of aliens. It was because of drones, right? And I equate that kind of level of fear more as to the Chinese spy balloon kind of fear. He suggests this is part of a long-term strategy to manipulate public perception about extraterrestrial presence and technology. Let me ask you a question, guys. Do you think it takes a long-term strategy to do that? Do you really think it takes a long-term strategy to do that? Look how fast everybody went off about the drones. This time around. This is like the 3rd year in a row it's happened, by the way. People just have short memories. But think about how fast people flip out over stuff. You know, there's some people out there that think there's some killer fog rolling around right now. But people are getting sick, you know. But they hear that and they run with it because they don't trust things, and I get that. But so do the people who run the grifts. They understand you don't trust shit too, right? It's a blind spot, and it's also a spot by which people who want to do devious and nefarious things to you can exploit. All they have to do is do that, you know, much like the establishment does to people that are under their narrative. Think about all the fear mongering and slander campaigns that have gone on against Trump. Think about how many people are freaking out. Women are literally tying their tubes and shaving their heads because they think Project 2025 is coming, and it's not. It never was. But they've been talked into it. Some people think World War III is coming. We're going to watch. We're going to take a break here in a little bit from this because we are on a watch, right? We're watching. So we'll be here for a few hours watching and waiting to see if this disclosure drops tonight or not. That's part of the fun. But before Inauguration Day, we'll inaugurate. Hey, Scott Freedom, my friend from Canada. What's going on? How are you doing? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Thank you for being here for Disclosure Watch. We're on pins and needles. Pins and needles. We can't wait. And let's see, it's the 15th, right? So Monday is the big day. So we got from, I do a show Saturday night. I'm gonna do a show tomorrow night. If I got to, I'll do one Friday night. Gosh darn it. Oh yeah, I meant to ask you guys if you wanted me to cover Rubio on Friday. I guess I'll have to put a poll out there. I do a show Sunday night. The playoffs, it's gonna be hit and miss with Sundays, guys. I gotta be honest with you. We got a 3:00 game, and we're just gonna have to play that Sunday show by ear for now. We'll get back to it once the Super Bowl is over and we win it. But for now, I can't make promises about Sundays. But Monday night on Rig the Game, we read audiobooks. We're reading Government Gangsters by Kash Patel. We read Big Intel by J. Michael Waller just previously. I mean, we were too good. We were busy. So whatever night he actually does get disclosure down, every night just believe from here until inauguration day, I'll be bringing it up. So kind of like I promised after Christmas, I'd be asking where the drones were. And sure enough, they've disappeared. Of course, some people say, I'm still seeing them. So we'll check it out. But, again, any nefarious drones that are out there generally don't have FAA lighting on them. So anyway, psychological warfare. He suggests that, let me pull this down again. Scott, good to see you, my friend. Hold on. Back in 2013, females on Twitter were led to believe they had to pee their pants and post a photo of it. That was crazy wrong. Why would they need to do that? How would they led to believe it? Yet they did it, right? So the question here is, do you really need a long-term strategy to manipulate people's public perception about extraterrestrials? After movie after movie after movie. Yeah, I bet they did. Now they're trying to get them to fart in napkins, man. I got proof. Do you really do that? It's too easy these days to get people riled up about shit. It really is. It's easy. Right? Technological implications. Greer discussed the existence of alien biologics and advanced human technologies derived from alien tech, like zero-point energy. God, that's his favorite thing. Which could be revolutionary. Can anybody even describe what zero-point energy means that may believe this? This is the game. This is the thing I like to do, right? This is the exercise I like to do to help people kind of realize, do you know the things you say, right? 0-point energy. Where's the 0 point in all this? Can anybody explain to me? That's kind of like people who run around saying something is MK Ultra. I'm like, can you explain to me how MK Ultra works? And they're like, no, no. Or they're like, just don't believe. I'm allowed to believe stuff. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it's fine. I'm just asking, can you explain it? Because you're saying it, right? That's the thing that grifts try to get us to do. They try to get us to just go along with what they say instead of actually going, I really don't know what 0-point energy is. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to take some time out of my day and do a little research and figure something out new. You know how many people couldn't even, it's like when a leftist says you're fascist. My favorite question back to them is define fascist. They can't do it. They can't. 9 out of 10 times they cannot do it. And when they start to do it, it doesn't make any sense to them. That's why I always ask. That's the way to get people to realize if they're talking out of their ass or not, is you ask them to say, what do you mean by this? What do you mean by that? Let's get down. And honestly, it's a great conversation to have. It's nothing devious about it. It's actually getting people to realize, I need to learn what I'm talking about a little bit more. A lot of people came and describe what they say we're fighting for democracy. A lot of people that say that don't even know what democracy means. I mean, honestly, they'll say it with conviction though. I mean it, right? They don't even know what the word actually means. A lot of people don't know what the word liberal means or conservative means. They'll say, I hate this, I hate conservatives, or I'm a liberal, right? But they don't even actually know the definition. So when you stop yourself and you start saying, well, these words I'm using, who told me to use these words? Did I come up with these words myself? Or did someone else give me these words to use? And what does that mean when I use their words without knowing what they mean? That's the essence of taking back control of your own mind from information, right? That's the way you do it. It's a fun process, man. You'll love it. Nexium. Yeah, that's what it is. That cult. Yeah. Scientology, sexology. Okay. So technical implications. Let me go ahead and whoop back down here. These alien biologics. And there's no evidence of any alien biologics anywhere ever. People will say it, and you can say anything you want to. You could say fairies float around behind me and cast magical spells. Doesn't mean it's true. And the one time Greer claimed to have some alien biologicals, that turns out to be a human, a poorly human, malformed human from the past, mummified, probably out of petty, and that he's dug up and desecrated their body. So alien 0-point energy, which could revolutionize energy use, but has been suppressed to maintain the current power structure. So a rogue group has suppressed 0-point energy to maintain the power structure, but that they're rogue from. Like, help me understand this a little bit better. This is the word salad kind of like jumble things up, so you can't quite logically figure it out. It's like, what do you mean? These whistleblowers from high-ranking, reportedly from high-ranking positions. In fact, when you listen to his interview, he says they're no longer with the military, right? So it's not a military operation. It's people who were military, working for this corporate structure that now is somehow like, I don't know, like what? It's supposed to be like, I don't know, name some big bad corporation or something, LexCorp or something, you know? And in real, now they have a shadow government because they put their own people in positions to distract. I remember that part in the interview, to distract, to get people to not believe it. Really, this was very convenient. But are they really a shadow government? Can they really take over? I guess if they have 0-point energy and 1,000-year ahead of our military alien technology, they can. That's Greer's position, right? You can't prove any of this stuff, right? So we have to wait for disclosure, and then keep listening and buying stuff and going to the hitting the like button and getting him on big old podcasts for lots of money, like David Spade and and Dana Carvey, multimillionaire Hollywood actors. Media and public relations. While Greer claims have stirred significant public interest in debate, government agencies like the FBI, Department of Homeland Security, have downplayed the threat. Well, downplayed the threat. Downplayed the threat. It's saying it's a threat. That they're downplaying a threat, or are they saying there isn't a threat, right? Over the places that they're talking about, because most of these sightings are turning out to be just airplanes and helicopters, and the other ones are like commercial drones of people flying around doing fun stuff with their drones, right? Attributing sightings to commercial or law enforcement drones. See, however, some political figures and conspiracy theorists have speculated a more sinister intention behind the incidents. Enter Stephen Greer. Dr. Stephen Greer's narrative paints a picture of significant government conspiracy aimed at maintaining secrecy over advanced technologies and extraterrestrial contact, decade after decade after decade. Same thing, right? Like, what are they waiting for? Urging for transparency and public awareness to counter what he describes as dangerous misuse of power and technology. Here's the thing. Greer is almost 70 years old. Hi, Evelyn. How you doing? Yeah, right? He's almost 70 years old. He's got some time. Who knows what he's going through, whatever, and then he's going to be on down the dusty trail. And I'll be like, oh, I just hope that these, they'll carry on my work, because nothing ever came of it. I mean, a lifetime, decades of work. They're thousands of years ahead of us in technology. What are they waiting for, guys? Like, what are they waiting for? And that is the synopsis of where we stand tonight on the cusp of disclosure. And so as we dive into this, where to go next? C5 activities, and I want to pull up some of the stuff I was looking at beforehand here. Let me get my watch list out. Let's see. Okay, let me get this history right there. Should be fine with this. Yeah, there they all are. Yeah, there they are. Okay. So I think it's important, first of all, to understand what a C5 meditation looks like. Now, a CE5 meditation is close encounters of the fifth kind. This is the thing we're going to talk about next in Greer's history. right? Where he came from, how he got on this bent about being a UFO expert and some kind of alien expert. He literally believes he's in contact with aliens, right? He literally believes this. Yet we're on this like waiting game thing. And while the people that he's in contact with, who contacted him, what was it, 20 weeks ago? 20 weeks ago, or was it no time flat, and came out with this and brought this whole story out. People will say he's never changed the story over the years. Bullshit. Because this story, it can't be more than 20 months old. I think it's 20 months, right? 20 months old, because that's what he said. He literally said this rogue group contacted him 20 months ago, right? And told him all this stuff and flew him to these sites and showed him things and said that they've now realized that what they're doing is unconstitutional. They finally realized it after what, decades of doing it? And then, yeah, he's been talking about these groups, but he's saying that he just recently came in contact with this whole new thing is what it's about. And that then by the end of the interview, another group that was going to go after them had emerged and contacted him too. Like, dude, who are we going to call? Stephen Greer. I mean, he's an emergency room physician who started a new age group about meditating. So here's the meditation. I want you guys to see this for your own eyes. This is what it looks like when Stephen Greer is contacting aliens. And you think I'm crazy. No, you don't. And you think I'm making it up or something, or you think I'm just like, being closed-minded about aliens. No, not at all. Not at all. In fact, I'd love it if he was, everything he said was true. I got to tell you this. I would absolutely love it. It would make for interesting. Hey, Grosco, how's it going? Good to see you, man. It would make for interesting times. I mean, honestly, I'd love it if he was right. I'd love it if all this stuff was true, but it's a very interesting story. But let's take a look at what he looks like. There he is. So peaceful. So let's go ahead and listen. This is him, Stephen Greer.
And take a deep breath in with your nose and out with your mouth. A very deep breath in with your nose, out with your mouth.
I'm about to speed this up. I don't want him brainwashing anybody. We're going to speed it up a little bit. This is 10 minutes of this shit.
With each inward
I'm not going to play the whole thing.
Become centered.
This is typical. Does anybody medicate? This is typical meditation, right? All right, we got to go faster than this, Steven. I know you want to drag it out, but.
And in the center of your forehead.
Right here?
See the light of consciousness.
Is this right here? It's a little off center.
Be aware that you are awake. And with each exhalation, very relaxed and calm. And your whole body and mind together are centered.
Centered. He's going to teach us how to contact aliens, though.
And then let our minds follow our breath. Very gently, breathing normally. And just gently become aware of the conscious mind watching the breath. You are awake.
I'm awake.
And become aware that awareness.
I'm aware that I'm awake. And it's watching that I'm aware.
And your breath changes, and your thoughts, and yourself, and the world around you. But the light of consciousness is changeless.
The thing about Stephen is you got to slow him down to listen to what he's talking about. The light of consciousness is awakeness. What did he say again? Hold on. It's so good.
But the light of consciousness is changeless.
It's changeless. Unchanging, you mean?
It is infinite.
Infinite.
It is one.
Changeless.
And as we go more deeply.
See, when I say he's a new age guy, I'm not making it up. Like, literally he's rooted in new age. All this alien rabbit hole stuff that people, at least the big thought leaders and the ones that are out there making all the money on it, getting all the notoriety for it, they're all new ages. They're all new age, right? They're all new age. You don't hear any mention of Jesus and God and religion and any of this stuff, right? This is all new age. This is called sit back and wait don't get involved because we got it. The aliens will come and save you. So now you sit back and you just spend your time listening to people like Greer and others, right? Waiting for aliens, waiting for disclosure, and you don't get involved in actually making a difference. You don't get involved in being part of the solution. That is the end game here for a lot of people, right? And these grifters love it because Steven's got a nice house. He's got money. He's flying around debriefing people all day long. You know, he's got the biggest, neatest toys out there, I bet. I bet he's got some cool toys. And I don't know why the aliens don't give him the same shit that everybody else has if he's so special. Like, right? Like, why isn't he getting this stuff? Why we have to do it a certain way because, you know, the space light continuum has to be everlasting and changeless. So, you know, hey, look, there's nothing wrong with meditation. This ain't about joking on meditation or nothing like that, man. People do it, man. People swear by it. But Stephen Greer here, I always want to call him David for some reason. Stephen Greer here is trying to convince people that by doing this meditation, you will be able to contact and talk to aliens. You see, like he does.
Let us see that this conscious field that we are sensing, without straining, just aware that you are awake, is omnipresent everywhere.
And you see what his shirt says down here? Hold on. Can I do this? Just keep eyeing his shirt.
Themselves.
Hold on.
But in truth, this conscious spirit is without limits in space or time. And thus it is infinite and eternal.
Is that what it means? Is that what it means?
Now being subtly aware of this consciousness, we see it as this vast, infinite ocean.
People who want some excitement in their life too, right?
Like ripples and waves moving on the surface of this infinite ocean of light consciousness.
Do you think that he's feeling like he's being very profound when he says this stuff? Like he's like, man, I am so on fire right now.
And now we can see, as we settle into the deeper aspects of this ocean, that the entirety of creation is emanating from the pure field of just conscious being. And that conscious being is us. We are all one in the spirit.
Well, there it is, right? There's the new age. There's the new age. Bottom of the new age rabbit hole. We are all one. Therefore, nothing you do matters. And no consequences, no life, no death. It's like this person named BX Bullet. She was diving down these new age cults, and her theory was that a lot of these mass shooters were connected to new age cults because of the disconnect it creates between people and reality. In a sense that if you start to believe that we're all one, right? And there are no consequences, there is no then or there or whatever in life, then you're willing to pretty much do anything, any kind of atrocity to anybody else. And you're also willing to check out at any time. So this is, the murder suicide kind of thing that goes along in these events. She found that there was a lot of connection between new agey type idea and ideologies and people that will go out and commit these kind of heinous acts. I don't think it was too bad. She quit her research due to public pressure from weird groups of people. And it was a shame because I thought she was really doing a good job. But I did do a stream on it way back. I think the Valley of the Shadow series, it's in there somewhere, where I showed her the first phase of her documentary. It was freaking good. It was on Robert Cremo, the Parkland shooter. And she did good work. But then she kind of just lost her mind and got combative with people and never wanted any help. And it was just like, I don't know. And then I guess she wandered off and went back to gaming and Twitch streaming or something. I still posted her Discord though.
And going now more deeply and relaxed.
Mad.
From the calmness of the depths of the infinite ocean.
Yes,
of
Steven.
Life and consciousness.
Get to the aliens.
We behold the beautiful Earth, a blue planet spinning in the vastness of space.
So, I mean,
in peace with.
He's just blowing sunshine up people's asses, right? It's like, okay, what are you doing here? I don't even know what you're doing. He's sitting still. Anyways, I don't want to bore the shit out of you, but this is the kind of stuff that he does, right? And you can go to his page. This is from Cosmic Fam. So you have a little bit of contact movement every time. You know, you just keep doing it, and eventually you'll be talking to aliens, and they'll give you all the infinite secrets of the universe, and you'll be good when they come. You know, they'll know you personally. It's that thing, right, guys? It's that thing. Jim Jones had this going on for years, but lost touch with reality. It's all new age. He's just a bunch of books and regurgitating them, right? So now, speaking of which, let's go back into his past. Let's figure out where this guy came from. Something I didn't do and I haven't done before. Well, let's go back to the way back. And we're better to go than the Gaia Network. That's right. We're going to go to the Gaia Network right here, as you can see, right here. Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind with Dr. Stephen Greer. Now, a lot of people don't know, they don't realize it, that follow him. They just think that he's the Disclosure Project guy. The Disclosure Project came later. It came later. Okay. And this is about how far in we're going to go. But this will give you the real rundown of where he comes from and how he gets his credibility, how he is like considers himself an expert, how he gains his clout with people, I guess. So anyways, let's take a listen to this from the Gaia Network. And I just want to point out before we continue that this video has been seen 1.1 million times. And there are over 1.73 million subscribers to the Gaia Network. And if you don't know what the Gaia Network is, you should go look at it. It's full of new agey, UFO grifty, alien tech, you know, all these people are on there. Greer's on there and a bunch of other folks are just like them. A bunch of other folks from the Disclosure Project are on there, you know, and it's basically this giant hub where all these people end up, right? And then they can have their material promoted. They do book tours, they do conventions, they make money, right? With no guilt. You got to be a special kind of somebody to at some point know you're grifting the hell out of people, which I believe each one of these people know, right? And just to take that. And like I said, I think Greer will come out with perhaps with the excuse that the guy who blew up the Cybertruck in Las Vegas was his contact, was one of his guys, his whistleblowers. And that therefore now we can't do the disclosure. Another thing I pointed out during the Danny Harvey, David Spade interview was that he was talking about how the other group of Delta Force Green Beret Navy SEALs that were going to go after the guys with badass technology and the Star Trek stuff that they couldn't touch with a freaking 10-foot pole, right? They were going to go after them because they were ultra military badasses. And but they needed executive orders, not just from Trump, but from all over people. So if Trump doesn't give Stephen Greer his executive order for these for this one secret group to go after another secret group, right? Then that's another reason why it might not happen. So you have to watch what he's telling you. You have to watch what he's telling you. And when he leads up to this stuff, and it just amazes me he's gotten away with this for so long. It's, I mean, you just slow him down. It's so transparent what he's doing, and people like this who abuse other people, I'm gonna have a lot of fun just calling your bullshit out. Steven Smear, I watched and listened to everything he does since I was a kid, right? I mean, yeah, he sucks people in. You want to believe his fantastic stories, but when you slow down what he's saying, it's total crap. Now let's take a listen to his origin story here. And we got this on winning speed, right? Because we can't sit through. Okay, there we we'll go that. There we go. All right, let's go. Dr. Stephen Greer. Network. Grifting your ass.
For over 40 years, one man has championed the cause of developing peaceful relationships with extraterrestrial intelligences that have been visiting planet Earth for decades, if not millennia. Through his unrelenting efforts, Dr. Stephen Greer is a significant force, bearing pressure upon the government to disclose.
And see, like when they look at that Disclosure Project's cut right there, you know, they make it seem all official. They're in a hotel ballroom. Like, you know, oh, we're here and we will testify in front of Congress and swear under oath that what we're saying is true. Nobody ever asked them to.
Those classified, secret, extraterrestrial information kept hidden within the military-industrial complex.
So what? Like, all these presidents that come through and don't want to do anything about this, and yet it's out in the open.
Carson, Dr. Greer, welcome to Disclosure.
Thank you. I'm very happy to meet you.
Yes, and same here. Your whole journey began in 1973 when you had a near-death experience. Can you tell us about that?
In the spring of 1973, I got very sick. And I had this experience where
left my body in a very clear way, went out into space,
Not
and
actual
had
footage.
sort of a contact, not with extraterrestrials, but with two points of consciousness that were divine avatar type beings.
Divine avatar means there I am. It's me winning reality.
It was beautiful. And towards the end of it, in this state of consciousness, I was told I could either go with them or come back to Earth. And I said, I had the presence of mind to say, thy will be done. What do you want me to do?
I will be done.
I mean, I'm 17. Totally.
I'm 17. I'm dead. I'm floating in space. And I have the presence of mind to say, thy will be done.
Uneducated about any of these issues. And they said, you should go back. You know, a few months later, I go off to college. And in 1973, in October, I'm up in the mountains of North Carolina meditating.
He went to Elon, not Elon school. There's a college named Elon, and I've been there before. That's where he went to college. I've been there. It's a little party school out in the mountains.
And just before sunset, and I'm up at 5,000 feet. And I see this right before I sit to meditate. I look over towards the southwest, and there's a seamless metallic disc. And it's the same disc I had seen when I was 8 or 9. I'd seen one of these.
You know, so he's telling a story, and then he goes back to this, oh, by the way, and I saw it when I was 8 or 9. All right. That's another thing he does. Yeah. Ancient aliens, they got me. Yeah, the disclosure, those guys, man, I tell you, Scott, you see my playlist, right? The UFO alien rabbit hole. You should watch that or watch the Drone Apocalypse 2024 playlist. But we're gonna basically be doing the same thing I did. Just you slow him down and you stop and be like, what did he just say? And then you realize that he's just like he's a storyteller, so it keeps you going by kind of chaining things together. And then you forget kind of like part of what he said. So you don't stop him. You go, oh yeah, you know, he just threw in right there that when he was 7 or 8, he saw a UFO. Now, originally, remember that 17 years old, outer body experience on his deathbed, or later he'll say he actually died, right? So that's that. And now we're at a different point where he saw another UFO. So you have to kind of, you see what I'm saying? Did you forget the other parts already? Because that's the way it works with him, right? This is the way he goes like this. He's spinning it around. It's not a weave, it's a whirlwind, right? It's not, I do the weave. I believe I came up with that term myself. No, he's not weaving. He's tornadoing, right? So let's back it up again. This is the way I do it. All right, let's go back. Let's make sure we got these dates right.
Before I sit to meditate, I look over towards the southwest, and there's I see this. And just before October, a few months later, I go off to college. And in 1973, in October, I'm up in the mountains of North Carolina meditating. And
he just died. Now he's off to college. Got it.
Just before sunset. And I'm up at 5,000 feet. And I see this right before I sit to meditate. I look over towards the southwest, and there's a sea.
Do you think he had been up all night partying? And that's why he was sitting and meditating in the mountains at college, his first year of college? You think maybe that's what was going on here? Right? So anyways, we know what the timeline is. Okay. This is post transition to the talking to God and the aliens or whatever, however he wants to put it. Okay. Now he's back. He's going to college. Right?
Seamless metallic disc. And it's the same disc I had seen when I was 8 or 9. I'd seen one.
Jump back. Okay. Now he's 8 or 9, long before the death and the speaking, the outer body experience. Yeah. There you go, Scott. He works with Third Phase of Moon, the two twin brothers. And the cousins. They're the cousins. Dude, those guys put the griftiest shit out I've ever seen. It's so fake. Their stuff is so fake, and it's so bad and dramatic. Like, they want to be like Richard Steele kind of like television. Look, this is a true crime, and tonight we're going to dive into the mysteries of this and that. They want to be like that guy, right? But they can't be because they're just goofballs. So one of them's filming, and the other one's, and they're twins. They're the cousins twins. The cousins twins. Let that sink in. And yeah, and he works with these guys. These guys put out the cheesiest shit ever. In fact, when I pull up the old stream tonight that I did, I'm gonna pull up the one on specifically on the other topics we're getting ready to go into after this, right? I know that I went off on Third Phase of Moon and that, and we did a deep dive. I went and started looking their shit up, and I was like, because I remember back in the day, like 10, 15 years ago, right? Their stuff would always come up with my feed. And I would be like, man, this is the worst you have. It's so, you could totally tell it was fake and they're just making it up. Like, it was the worst thing. It was the worst shit. It was such bad production too. and that he teamed up with these guys. Like, this is a great partnership we have here. This shows again his level of credibility, in my opinion, because there's nobody griftier and weirder than the Cousins brothers. And he was on something, right? The Cousins brothers from third phase of Moon. Even the name of the goddamn company they have, the YouTube channel, doesn't make any sense. Don't worry, I'll show the Cousins. I'll show them. The Cousin brothers.
One of these
brothers.
ET craft when I was a very young boy with my twin sister and some other people in my neighborhood in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Sister?
I went, oh, well, they're back. I didn't think anything more about it. And I sit to meditate, and I have this profound, deep meditation that lasted a very long time. Because by the time I ended it, it was pitch black, and the Milky Way was above my head, gorgeous. And at the end of it, I stood up, and a beautiful thought, felt like it was telepathically sent to me. And it would sound strange, said, behold what a beautiful universe God has made.
Wow.
And with that, I went right back into that state that I was in when I had died 6 months earlier in March of 73. And I was just standing there, and below the crest of this mountain, there was a glow. And I went, I don't know what that is. And then I was aware that there was this being, but I thought it was a deer standing up on its legs.
Yeah.
And it was a ET.
It's called acid.
Beautiful almond eyes, and came over and touched my jacket. And I had a ski jacket on. It was very cold. Touched me on my right shoulder physically. And it was 3D and sort of fully materialized, dematerialized, rematerialized. Very similar to what Colonel Corso had happened at White Sands back in the 50s. Wow. And touched me. And with that, I vanished. And I was on a craft for about, I found out later, about the 3 or 4 hours.
Okay, did you guys catch that? I know it's easy to kind of a standing deer. Right. Did you follow that story? It started out with him meditating in the morning, and then he basically sat there all day long meditating because his mind is so powerful and he is so righteous, right? Until the whole Milky Way was above him out there in the North Carolina stars and the mountains there. And he heard a voice, behold, the universe is vast and great, or whatever, right? And that he went right back into it again, you know, and he showed me on the teddy where it touched you. And he's, you know, an alien came down, but he thought it was a deer standing up and looking at him. Hello. Why are you sitting there like an idiot? And so this is the point where now he found himself on this out in space on a starship. He's been abducted at this point, right? Because he was meditating and thinking about how great the universe was, and he had saw that UFO go by that he had saw when he was a kid, and he had just died months earlier and gone out into an out-of-body experience where he had an interaction with these two consciousnesses that made him asked him if he wanted to come along. Dude, Stephen Greer gets himself in these situations where he's always being given a choice, right? The Army intelligence guy in the 90s says 2 years after he started his Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind New Age meditation group, right? That's what it was. That's how it started. You'll see. Here's $2 billion in 1990 money to not do this and come work for me. For what? What had he done at that point? He hadn't done anything at that point to get. That's $10 billion in today's money. $2 billion in the early 90s. Like, if you look at his timeline, he didn't start the SETI group, the CESETI CE5 group, right, until the early 90s. And he had been an emergency room doctor for 10 years. So he did it for 10 years and he stopped. He's like, fuck those goddamn medical school bills. I'm going to go grip the hell out of some idiots, right? These idiots that come in with bottles stuck up their ass every day in the emergency room. I'm going to grip these idiots and give me all their money. And now he's living high on the hog. Boy, he's living high on the hog. He's got 12 kids. He's got all kinds of things going on. He's probably got a giant pool. He's got all kinds of things going on. But anyways, I need to be careful about, you know, we could have aliens come over and defend in defense of Stephen Greer. And they could, and that might set up a zebra alert. So I need to be careful about the zebra alert, because we're really getting into some sketchy territory here with Dr. Stephen Greer. And his alien compadres could come after me. They could come after all of us. and we may have to go into a zebra alert, you know, just for our own safety, of course. We do have a special request though, and now I can fulfill this request. It came in briefly. There you go.
Thank you for your super chat. Thank you for your super chat.
There you go, Toy. I need something for the dudes. Oh, for my sanity. Okay, my bad. My bad. I thought you said you needed the dudes. Okay, so you get. I apologize. That was the wrong one. Let's do this one. Now that I can read clearly, Stephen Greer's got my head spinning around in circles. E.T. dear, phone home. Phone home. Okay, let's get back to this fascinating story.
Amazing.
And it was during that experience that I found out later I vanished. White sands. Dematerialized, rematerialized. And it was 3D, touched me on my, and then I was aware that there was this being, but I thought it was a deer standing up on its legs.
Yeah.
And it was a ET, beautiful almond eyes, and came over and touched my jacket. And I had a ski jacket.
ET with beautiful almond eyes. Beautiful almond eyes. That's not stereotypical at all.
Jacket on. It was very cold. Touched me on my right shoulder physically. And it was 3D and sort of fully materialized, dematerialized, rematerialized. Very similar to what Colonel.
Why? And see that the whole thing is like touch me on my right shoulder. That's another technique you're using when you're storytelling there to make the believability, right? That's what it is. So like that was a little like credibility moment. It was my right shoulder he touched me on, and they materialized, and dematerialized again. Didn't make any fucking sense, but I'm telling you this anyways, right?
Corso had happened at White Sands back in the 50s.
Wow.
And touched me, and with that, I vanished, and I was on a craft.
Is that what it was? It was like
and touched me, and with that, Colonel Corso had happened at White.
Okay, so see, this happened to Colonel Corso. This is why he's telling this part of the story, because credibility. Touched me on the right shoulder, right, with my winter jacket on, that I've been meditating in all day long, and then did the thing that happened to the Colonel, the way the Colonel said it, right, and so credibility established. I'm not just tripping my balls off thinking deers are talking to me. There's probably a park ranger like, son, you got to get out of here.
Sands back in the 50s. Wow. And touched me. And with that, I vanished. And I was on a craft for about, I found out later, about the 3 or 4 hours.
Amazing.
And it was during that experience that.
So the thing is like, if you vanish, right, the vanishment is like the third person, right? You didn't vanish, you transported. Right. The only people that would think that you vanished is someone watching from a distance. Then he just vanished. Right. No, you didn't just vanish. You teleported. The thing about it is you can be a good grifter, but you're always going to mess up somehow. There's too many, what tangled web we weave. There's too many things to keep track of. And when you slow them down, you can get to the nitty gritty of it. So yeah, it was definitely Santa's spaceship. E.T. deer. That's the first, right? Yeah. Oh dear.
We experimented with and created the CE5 contact protocols, although I didn't call it that then. And it was using consciousness and remote viewing and what I call coherent thought sequencing, where you guide them into where you're located with a laser-like intent, heart and mind together. We'll get into this.
Yeah.
And that is really how the CE5 contact protocols got started.
Wow.
And it was fascinating. And that really began my whole experience within 6 months of near-death experience, exploring consciousness, and then from there, sort of creating the CE5 contact protocols where humans make contact with these civilizations directly. Wow. And it was all because of this sort of amazing consciousness exploration that happened.
Can you describe these beings and exactly what you learned?
Well, it was interesting because everyone has all these caricatures of these beings. They didn't fit any of the caricatures. And in fact, there were—
except for the almond eyes, right? And the thing that happened with the other guy.
Different types of beings. So there were one group that—
Now he's saying now there's different types of beings. You see what I'm saying? All of a sudden, you went from one type of being coming down, touching your right arm, materializing, dematerializing, and then transporting you onto their ship for several hours, right? And now there's several type of beings. So these several type of beings are on the ship. How are you going to become an expert now on how many different types of aliens there are when you've only been in contact so far as we know, with one now? So please fill us in.
Or maybe 39 inches tall. I mean, very like a
39 inches tall. Wait a minute. 39 inches tall. Well, that's kind of like the little mummy guy that he was trying to get dissected, right? Let me see. I know I've seen this. No, not that one. Hold on. I've seen this guy. I've seen it somewhere. Hold on. I'll find it. Let him talk.
less than 4 feet, a little over 3 feet. No hair. The other ones were very tall and sort of luminous. There was a group that had very triangular kind of heads, like a praying mantis.
Right.
Later, I found out that these are master healers in the cosmos from a planet where they're very renowned for healing. They have specializations of capabilities, but very much work together. It's very much opposite of what the UFO lore is in mythology.
Yeah.
But most of the experience was not linear. It was, you're sort of dematerialized out in space. And what was interesting is if you're sitting in this craft, you think, well, there are walls like in this building. No, you're looking as if you're floating in a bubble that's translucent.
Some kind of force field?
Because I think it has to do with extremely advanced fiber optic type systems in the shell of the craft. So you can be out there and it looks exactly like
he's
you're
been
just
there.
floating freely,
He knows it.
but you're not. You're actually in a structure, an environmentally controlled structure.
39
That's
inches.
incredible.
Yeah. Most of the time.
So I think I found the alien he's talking about. Hold on. Let me just play this real quick. I'll be back. Don't worry. He's coming back. And I'm gonna need to do this, and I'm gonna need to probably way into small mode here. There we go. Oh, geez. Here we go.
Take a guess, Spice Runner.
Yep. Babu freak.
Take a guess, Spice Runner.
There it is. There it is. He's about that. That's about right. That's about right. Hey. Okay. Full episode. Full code episode here. All right. Here we go.
To be honest with you, was spent me teaching them what it was like for a young man of 18, to experience cosmic consciousness on Earth and how that could be used, these states of consciousness, to communicate in the future. And I knew.
Okay,
it would
you
be
guys
something for the
catch
future,
that?
but at that time I didn't know.
Hold on. Did you guys catch that? Let's pull it back. I won't drag this out, I promise. But here we
An
go.
environmentally controlled structure.
That's incredible.
He's in a floating environmentally controlled structure. He's been transported there by an alien he thought was a standing deer, but it turned out to be a beautiful almond-eyed alien. And
Most of the time.
So this is how he spent his hours up there. This is important, so listen up.
To be honest with you, was spent me teaching them what it was like for a young man of 18.
Most of his time with the aliens was him teaching them.
To experience cosmic consciousness on Earth and how that could be used, these states of consciousness, to communicate in the future. And I knew it would be something for the future, but at that time I didn't know. I had no real sense of the timeline of when I would start the projects that
So
we
for
run
these
now.
beings, this is more like an exploratory consciousness experiment. Would you say that? Or
Yeah, because they're from outer space, and what the fuck do they know, right? They show up here with their transdimensional, shape-shifting teleportation systems and seamless spherical. Now you see, he saw a seamless silver disc earlier, and now it's a transparent ship. So you have to follow what he's saying, because he'll make you forget this shit that he wants you to, and he'll keep you. He has a way to keep up in the game as he goes, right? And we saw the same technique being used on the Dana Carvey David Spade interview. I'll give it a couple more, and then we're gonna move on.
We're co-creating these protocols for future use.
He was co-creating co-creating with aliens. It's 17. He was co-creating. Oh, mighty 17-year-old out in the middle of the field at college town. You come teach us mighty aliens how to contact with you.
Very specific. I knew it was for future use.
Can you describe the process of
He knew that he'd use it in the future. I bet he did. Dude, I'm gonna grip the whole motherfucking planet.
co-creation?
Yeah, I mean, and the co-creation part was me meditating
This
and
is
then
actually
seeing me
what happened.
meditate and experiencing that near-death type
Recreation.
level of clarity in samadhi consciousness, cosmic consciousness, and then how that could be used to actuate remote viewing. It's called now, but seeing distant places, seeing future, but also then connecting to the ET systems and guiding them in. And what I learned is that they have
they call it now seeing distant places and seeing futures. It used to be called you see, he does that a lot too. He likes to give you upgraded names. Or like say it used to be called this. Remember the that interview he pulled that out so many times. It's how he makes himself sound smart, right? And it's like he pulls that out all the time. What they're called coded. They're called coded. But they are the codes, so they're called coded. It's like stupid shit like that, right? So yeah, remote viewing, and now it's called seeing long distances and time.
actuate remote viewing. It's called now, but seeing distant places, seeing future, but
Now it's like it's got a dumber definition now. It used to be called a remote viewing, actuated remote viewing. We'll call it that. Man, that's a good name. Nowadays, the kids just call it seeing far places in distant times.
but also then connecting to the ET systems and guiding them in. And what I learned is that they have, and we'll get
That's
into
how
this more.
This is how you guide the ET systems in. Now they are already here. All right, they already picked them up, but they need help being guided in. They need help being guided in. They need help being guided in because they're already here, and they need Stephen Greer to help them because as a 17-year-old boy, he knows everything, and they know that because they're wise aliens from another dimension and shit. You see it? You see, Kenny? What's up? Did you take it off? Good night. Thanks, man. Take care, Kenny, man. Get lots of rest. You got to ride that bike, my friend. All right. 100% molested. Damn Brooks. Yep. 100%. Show me on the alien where it probed you. Take care, Kenny. Have it. P.S. Sorry, tried helping 3 neighbors at moment and setting this up, having talk with Kentucky State Police. Money to ensure safe last journey. I love you for you. All right, we love you too, Kenny. Have a good night, man. Sleep well. All right. Let's go. Where are we at here? Okay. So yeah, they needed his help to arrange to know how to be guided in because they were already there. Okay. Yeah, see that you got it, Scott. Scott, the Ancient Aliens is what I call the indoctrination series, right? And if you see the guy with the freaky hair and the old grumpy guy with the glasses, looks like he should be in Office Space. Those 2 guys invented Ancient Aliens. Those are the inventors. I did a whole 2-part series with none other than America's favorite dude on a stream, Shizzy Wiznut, and the long lost Caitlin doesn't comment any more comments. And I think that they were both on that show. But if you go to my UFO Alien Rabbit Hole series, The Unveiling Reality, the playlist is in the description, right? You'll see I have an order to it. And the reason why I did the order the way I did it is because it's a progression of the UFO belief system. So you start with Ancient Aliens, and of course they got Dr. Stephen Greer on there because the next step is the Disclosure Project. See, once you have admitted to yourself that aliens built the pyramids and they've been here the entire time, or they maybe even seeded the planet, right? Then you're ready for disclosure because now you're willing to accept the fact that they've always been flying around and everything you can't explain is a goddamn alien, right? And now with Stephen Greer leading the charge, our leader, our precious leader who can talk to aliens since he was 17, right? Almost like a super soldier. I bet you one day he's a super soldier. What do you want to bet? Right? Leading the charge, he's going to work with his alien brethren, right? who he co-created protocols with to help guide them in, even though they were already here, right? And had already been here long before his ass was ever born, right? Even, he's going to lead us against this rogue group that's been shooting these aliens down. They don't seem to mind because they keep coming back to the same damn spot to get shot down every year. His words from his interview with David Spade and Dana Carvey, not making it up. Go watch it. Drone Apocalypse parts 3 and 4. I believe that specific part was in part 4, right? Slow down, line by line, his words, right? So, yeah. So the next step is disclosure. And because we got, and it leads you all the way down the road. And if you go far enough, you might start to believe in Palladians and the Galactic Federation of Light, and they've always been here and they're waiting for us to evolve into the 4th and 5th and 6th dimension or whatever dimensions people create that come up with this shit. Right? They can't describe what the dimension does. They don't understand the elements of that dimension, but it's better than this one, where all the bad guys get to win, right? So instead of doing something about the bad guys and attacking the root cause issues, they're like, man, the aliens are going to come take me away because I believe my heart, my love and light is in the heart, and I believe, and I am pure, and I bless my food before I eat it, and I do all the shit that I heard on the Gaia Network, right? Because they need to make some money to keep telling us what to do while we sit around and wait for the aliens to come save us. That is the danger of this rabbit hole. You will end up doing nothing, and you may lose your belief in anything in this life, right? We're all one, so nothing matters, right? That's a thing too. When you don't believe you're everybody around you, nothing matters, no consequences. We're all one, it doesn't matter anyways. We all go back to the same place. We all start from the same place. Everybody's connected. You're not an individual. That's the things that they start to make you believe in the new agey cults. And it can go on from there. And it depends on your mentality, how far down the rabbit hole you go. Not people like us, we're too base. We don't fall in. We may think it's interesting or fun or whatever, but we don't fall in, right? There's some people that seriously have mental problems because of this. It's not funny when the guy's coming out and defaming the military and getting people's hopes up. And it's also not funny when he's taking them out of the fight. And from my perspective, it's like you take them out of the fight. Like, oh, why even bother voting for Trump or any kind of change why even bother getting involved in your community? The aliens are going to come take care of us and shit anyways. It's really a dark cabal. Listen to Stephen Greer. He'll tell you, right? And those people are checked out. They're not voting. They're not getting involved. And if anything, they're going to obstruct and get in the way. Oh, sorry. I just have that on just in case. All right. I had to scratch my nose there. Right,
they have technologies that interface with the consciousness field and directed thought, not random thought, what I call coherent thought.
Oh, not random thought, coherent thought. It's what he calls coherent thought. God, this guy is so brilliant.
As clearly as we pick up a radio frequency from our cell phone or TV station. So those civilizations that are interstellar, they have to, by going faster than the speed of light, they've had to explore transdimensional physics.
Oh my goodness gracious! By going faster than the speed of light, they've had to experiment with transdimensional physics, and this is why Stephen Greer is so damn important in all of this.
Or TV station. So those civilizations that are interstellar, they have to, by going faster than the speed of light, they've had to explore transdimensional physics, including faster than speed of light communications, which exist, and classified projects have worked on these.
Communications, would it be faster than the speed of sound? I mean, just saying.
But those civilizations have perfected it to a level of,
I guess if you're using video, it would be like
really profound accuracy. And so this is something that I experienced. I didn't understand it. I mean, obviously, it's taken me 40 some years to sort of unpack that, because intellectually I didn't understand it. Experientially, it was very simple. You connect to the fact you're awake. You connect to that aspect of consciousness that is this field consciousness that's unbounded, infinite. You then can see any point in space-time. And then when you connect with an ET craft or person, you then zoom in and show them where you are. And that's it.
Because the radar really doesn't work. You have to zoom in and show them where I'm here. Oh, there you are, precious little being. Let us come down and dance around in the sky in our orb spaceship for you to show you that we love you.
It's very, it's very simple.
Right.
But also it was under this sort of ethical premise of universality that we're all one being. And I realized that, well, they're strange and they're different from me. Of course, we still have racism on this planet and everything else.
Oh yeah, God, absolutely.
But from their point of consciousness, it's like, what's the color of consciousness? What's the gender of consciousness? What's the ethnicity of consciousness?
Right.
Of that basic universal field of consciousness? Well, it doesn't have a color. It doesn't have a gender. It doesn't even have a planet. It's not even humanism. It's universal.
Right.
And so that I realized was something that these
I love the host. He's like, yeah, right. Yeah.
civilizations absolutely understood at a, not only from the point of view of their paradigm,
That's
but
right.
from their
Boy.
operating
You get
systems.
You get it.
Interestingly, this continued where I was up in the mountains, North Carolina.
High as a kite.
And before I go to
didn't
bed,
say that.
I would do these protocols. Just see if this works.
Right.
Every single night, the Rangers and police would report UFOs all over the area.
Every single night. Every single night, the Rangers will report UFOs all over the area. Every single night.
And I finally realized I shouldn't do this without having some purpose. So I stopped. It kind of
finally
freaked me out, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So
He's like, he finally realized he could make a lot of money off of convincing people of this bullshit because all the high ass hippies that he was with were buying into it.
after that, I decided, I really want to become an expert on meditation. So I went to become a meditation teacher, the old Maharishi International University.
Yeah.
Interestingly,
Anybody seen this guy around?
during that period, of learning to become a teacher of meditation, we went over to Issy-les-France, and it's up in the Maritime Alps, up above Nice,
I
near the
didn't pay
Italian
my
border.
medical school bills.
And that
instead
was
I
the
went
last
here.
phase of becoming a meditation teacher. Now this is
Well, hold on. Is that you? Wait, hold on. Is this him right here? Is this Greer? Where is no? This is Greer right here. This is Greer. This is definitely Greer. You can tell.
This is now the summer 1975. And one morning, I said, you know what, I'm going to break out of my meditation routine that they had us on, and I'm going to do the CE5 protocols. And it was before lunch. So I sit and I go into meditation.
Maharaji.
I go in deep into meditation.
Maharaji.
I allow my conscious mind to expand universally. I then scan for ET craft or civilizations, and I get a sense of one. And I just said, I'm here. My name is Steve. I very childishly said, my name's Steve. You don't remember me. And then I show them where we are. So I show them, I vector them in, like you'd vector in a jet to JFK Airport. I vector them in with my thought very clearly to that mountain and that hotel complex up in the French Maritime Alps. And all of a sudden, this beautiful, seamless, metallic, silvery tetrahedron materializes.
Oh God, there's the tetrahedron again. Now the tetrahedron, guys, if you remember from the David Spade, Dana Carvey interview, the tetrahedron was also seen in that jungle. I forget what country it was, but it had experienced a tsunami earthquake. And they were loading human beings into it that had lost their homes. They were taking them to be experimented on in a deep underground base, never to be seen from again. Right? That was the rogue group that's supposedly coming out and realizing that we're probably doing some unconstitutional stuff here. And then that's that group, right? And this Marine, it's whistleblower, who's out there with his troops, and he came across this, and they're like, well, you can come with us. His words. Go back and watch the interview. I ain't gonna go over it again, but man, exact words. And by the way, while we're at a break here, a little stop, has anybody heard anything about any disclosure from Stephen Greer Knight? And remember, you're the research team. Look, search X, search YouTube, search any websites. See if you come up with anything from today from Stephen Greer. Anything, just anything, just an update. Can we get an update? Did you do a quick stand up in the morning with the team? Anything? I mean, just any kind of report. Let me know if you find it. I'm going to continue this backstory here so we can get on to the rest of the stuff.
Pine Sky, probably 1 in the afternoon. And this was the first mass witness CE5, close encounter of the fifth kind, which is when humans initiate the contact and make
Stephen, it's brought the aliens here.
Contact. And there were a whole bunch of people
from
France who were on the course who were up ahead of us pointing. So this was a mass witness daytime. Interestingly, nobody got a picture of it or any video. I get it. But people did have like Polaroids back then, didn't they? I mean, what happened? This was big and it was close. And I think once people began to be afraid They pick
they
up on
say
that
that
fear.
today?
Yeah.
And they back off, contrary to the human
I'll show up next
hoaxed
Wednesday.
contact events,
Yeah.
what UFO people call abductions and mutilations, all that. The actual ET events, if they sense you're afraid, they just back off. And they did. So they backed off and then dematerialized in a blue sky. Didn't fly off, it just vanished.
It just vanished.
So that was in 1970.
It blew up, but then just vanished. These guys, they know how to make an entrance and an exit.
And that was the first
so much fun.
mass witnessed
fun to be
event. And that's when I realized, you can do this.
Mass witness. You and your meditation team, who nobody has any evidence of this actually happened. I mean, at least get somebody to say they saw the same thing. Let's put them in a separate room and question them. Okay, I'm checking my Discord. What we got here? His first episode of his podcast started today. Oh, what a blessing. What a blessing. Oh, that's the big reveal, huh? Episode 1. Join Dr. Greer for his new podcast series with breaking news on UAP disclosure efforts. Oh, God bless America. All right. Okay, we got to go check this out, guys. Remember how I said to note his shirt in that last thing that when he was doing the meditation? Well, he's got the same shirt on. And that was a couple of years ago. So he's been working on this for a minute. Yes, it is. Oh, sorry. Yes, it is. What is this? Okay. All right. Thank you. Hold on, dude. La. I do have a Discord. I thought you were in the Discord. Are you not in the Discord? So anyways, where was I? Shit. That's probably not good. All right. So anyways, he's got a podcast. It came out today. What a surprise. So we'll go over there and get a full update from the man himself. All right. But let's finish this real quick. I don't know how much longer we're going to let this go on, but we have to hear about his backstory to understand where he's at today. And now we can always remember his backstory, the way he told it on the precious, most precious Gaia network. Oh my God, this is what he meant, that everything's coming out. He just started a fucking Oh, man. Oh, dude, never full of surprises. I mean, this is nuts, right? I mean, Jesus Christ. What time is it here? I gotta make sure I don't lose my wolf. Okay. He built anticipation so they listen. Dude, he's good. He's been doing this for a long time. I'm telling you, the guy's got it down to an art. And if he didn't have the alien thing taken, I'd steal it from him. God damn it. Me and Chili we'd live high on the hog. I'd be getting me a flying car. And I'd be like, look at me, I'm in a UFO. Eating porterhouse steaks every night, swimming by the pool. I mean, hell, dude, I still might do it. No one will know. I work for Stephen Greer. I'm coming out to say that I've been working with Stephen Greer for all of these years under a secret code name. I'm here to blow the whistle on the whistleblowers. And my new CE6 technology is based on the protocols of the CE5 technology, but it goes a step further. You see, no longer do we need to vector in the UFOs. We are now part of the UFOs. You see, we've instituted the transdimensional multiple times speed of light technology from interstellar travel, right? And then we have now integrated that into the neural networks using AI and new technologies that the aliens have blessed us with to help us during our evolution into the 7th dimension, right? And we don't really, people will tell you that it's the 4th, 5th, or 6th dimension, but it's really the 7th dimension. And that's the bad guys and all this are trying to send people to what we call the prison dimensions, right? And these are the 4, 5, and 6 dimensions. These are actually prison dimensions. And the further along you go, the worse the hell you're going to arrive to gets. But the 7th, that's God's dimension. That's where you will find the 0-point energy that everybody will have. You'll basically be able to wear it on your hip. It's like a belt almost, right? You have the 0-point energy. and you'll also be able to interact with aliens of many varieties. There's all kinds. There's short ones, tall ones, fat ones, ones that are blue, ones that are green. Some fly, some swivel. There's some that are just made out of gas. They kind of stink, but you kind of get used to it. You see, that's all you got to do. I could just go this for, I could just do this forever, right? I mean, how many people started to believe what I was saying? Nobody here, but anyways, let's finish this up.
For people, you can do this with a group. And it dawned on me then that that's something that at some point we should do as a civilization on Earth.
Yeah.
What more can you tell us about the structure?
Just one key thing about the structure. And this is how you determine an extraterrestrial vehicle from the ones that are the anti-gravity vehicles from Lockheed Skunk Works in Northrop.
Oh, the Skunk Work guys with their anti-gravity vehicles. And he's going to tell us the difference now.
Is that they're completely seamless. They have this extraordinarily energy about it. And the consciousness of the occupants is transmitted in the structure.
Oh.
I mean, it's like
at
the level of seamless interface between the consciousness of the pilot or whoever's commanding it and that structure. And you can feel it. You could feel that the structure itself was awake.
You could feel it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
As you continue to test your contact protocols, there was an event with UAPs at the FAA. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. And actually in the intelligence community, they call them ETVs, extraterrestrial vehicles,
God, I hope it's a zebra alert.
ARVs, alien reproduction vehicles, or electrogravitics.
I've heard ARVs quite a bit.
Yeah. So, the UAP term was invented recently as a way of obfuscating and hiding the truth. Remember, words are important.
Exactly.
All right, so that's my
yes, they are.
editorial comment on the question. But going further, 2 years later, a couple years later, this event happened where again there was a part of me that says, you want to pinch yourself. Is this true? Can this really happen?
Yeah.
So I was back in North Carolina, and I was up near Blowing Rock, out in the Blue Ridge, off the Blue Ridge.
Blowing Rock. I bet you were. I bet it. That's exactly where you were. Yeah, I bet you were up at Blowing Rock, weren't you?
Parkway.
No, I get it.
And I had a housemate. We had this little 2-bedroom place on the lower level of a house overlooking Grandfather Mountain, the 6,000-foot mountain out in the Blue Ridge. And I suddenly realized, I want to try this.
Hey, want to go to Blowing Rock with me?
Came to me. So I go into quiet meditation. Again, I'm doing this before I go to bed.
Quiet. I'm meditating.
Be careful what you do right before you go to bed. A lot of cool things can happen. You got to be ready for it. And so I go into this deep meditation, and I ask the ETs to come and visit where I am. And again, I expand my awareness, go into this state where I can see where they are. I introduce myself, and in a spirit of peaceful contact, invite them to come to where I'm located there. But kind of being, I guess, in a sense, looking back on it, rather childish.
They're like aliens, like vampires. They can't come in unless you invite them.
About it, I said, well, if you don't remember who I am, I was born and grew up in Charlotte, so I show them and guide them to the city of Charlotte and the part of town I grew up in, and then from there guide them up to the Blue Ridge Mountains Northwest.
You're that kid.
And sure enough, it turns out I go to sleep, I wake up, and there's this kind of blue craft, maybe 20 feet outside the window, with this energy, this beam of energy coming in, and inside my room was an ET, but not materialized. I could
it was there, but it wasn't materialized.
Sense it, its intelligence.
You can sense it, but it wasn't. It just like, what? I just don't feel like materializing.
It's there. Now my roommate at this point, who's in a bedroom next door, wakes up and sees this craft right outside the window and can feel the consciousness of this ET in the house.
Wow.
So he comes running out and runs in. He says, "What did you do?" And
made me do it. The ET made me do it.
But he was very upset in a sense about it because I had warned him I was going to do this. And at that point, this ET, which
God damn it, Steven, are you summoning aliens again? I got an exam tomorrow.
Was sort of almost like a hologram. You could sense it, but it wasn't fully materialized yet because they can go in and out of dimensions.
Right.
Oh yeah.
It vanished. Yeah. The crafts then moved around to the front of the house. So we run out into the living room.
Yeah. We tried to
see a picture window. It was nighttime, but off in that direction is Grandfather Mountain, and it goes in front of the picture window, and it goes. Makes an arc and goes out.
That's not the actual footage, y'all. That's dramatization. That's a dramatization, y'all.
And kind of makes a loop over Grandfather Mountain. Beautiful. And vanished. I said, oh, wow.
Grandfather Mountain. See what I'm saying? He's a long college.
They're still able to do this, or I'm still able to do this. Yeah. So I wasn't really sure. You're always doubting you can do things that you can do until it kind of becomes really determine. Well, I later find out.
I bet, Stephen. I bet.
The next day, it's all in the papers that craft that had sort of vectored over Charlotte,
sightings,
was chased by the police helicopter, the Snoopy helicopter, they called it, for the police.
The transdimensional craft was chased by Snoopy.
It was on radar at the Charlotte Douglas International Airport. Back then, Eastern Airlines pilots saw it.
Snoopy 2, no, sir, I'm not seeing the target right now. Roger. We got something out here flying around. I don't believe flying saucer, but it ain't an aircraft. I don't know what it is. Sounds like a close encounter. Roger.
And I had someone inside the FAA take that tape, and I have it.
Oh, wow.
It's actually part of it is in Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. And that was the ET's way of saying you can be very specific in what your guidance is in the stream of coherent thought, the sequencing of coherent thought, which is what I call it, to guide them, because they were saying, yeah, we picked up on the fact that you said go here and then come here. And they went there and then came up to the mountains. And I went, that was a really teaching moment. I share these things because they're teachable moments of the specificity that these civilizations have to follow specific.
Have you seen The Bandit? That's what it sounded like. It sounded like it was goddamn Jerry Reed
information. And it's quite magical and beautiful.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, they're literally...
That is really incredible, Stephen. I mean, you tell a hell of a story. All right, so let's get on out of here. Where are we at? 2 hour mark. Okay. Do you get the grit? Do you get the grift? I mean, you get the gist, get the grift. All right. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to go and find some of the old stuff. And like this whole idea that he talks to people, and like he's literally made money off people. You can come to our retreats where I'll teach you the CE5 meditation, and then we will go out and have an experience with an alien, and we will bring them to us. And dude, that's never happens. It never happens. And I needed to find that old video that I did, because I had it all in one little spot. But tell you what, why I go fish that out, what we're gonna do now is do what we came here to do. And that is check in with Stephen Greer and see what's going on with this disclosure. Now, the big disclosure is, instead of having disclosure tonight, he started a podcast. Warning, too many suddenly realizing you get whiplash, right? And we'll have to pull him up here and let him speak about his new podcast. Hi, everybody. Only 50,000 views. Come on, we can do better than that. How many likes we got? Well, we got 50,000 views and 69,000 views here, but only 1,200 likes and almost 500 retweets. All right, well, let's get into it. And while this is happening, I'll try to fish around and find out what is going on.
Dr. Stephen Greer, and this is the first episode of our podcast, the Dr. Stephen Greer podcast. And the reason we're starting this podcast now, rather emergently here today, is because we have a group of people who are in the process in the next 72 hours or so who will be coming forward with a great deal of information and evidence related to the UFO and
we're here for kickoff
NHI or extraterrestrial issue. And I think the public is going to need to have a source of perspective and context and analysis to go to. And so I feel that this is the time to start a podcast like this. We're going to be eager to let everyone, put the word out that we're doing this, because I think without the context and interpretation, understanding, there'll be too many opportunities for the disclosure of this information to be manipulated, go sideways, and create all kinds of confusion. So I think when we do these, we're going to try to do them every week if possible. I'll be traveling a great deal with what's happening, but we have a portable setup here, and we'll just kind of do it on the road when I'm traveling. So we're going to keep all of you up to date, at least on a weekly basis, and maybe more than that if there are further breaking events. And one thing I'd like to ask everyone to do is to share the link to this podcast with everyone else and put it up on sites so it gets the widest information out. One of the things that we've been doing just leading up to this, for those of you who are new to the Disclosure Project, I just want to introduce what we've been doing for the last 34 years. I was a young medical emergency and trauma doctor when I started this project, and it's evolved. And a little bit of background might be helpful for you guys. When I first started it, the intent was to initiate a program where humans would make contact with these civilizations that are non-human.
Man, what a bummer. I could have just done this instead of gone through that old shit, but whatever.
Who are visiting here in a context of peace and to advance the relationships between humans and these other life forms, what's now called NHI or non-human intelligence. Within about a year or two, I was approached by people in the intelligence community and the U.S. government about the problem, and some of them were hostile to what we were doing for reasons we'll unpack in subsequent episodes, and some were wanting to help. And so in the early years of the Clinton administration, I was asked to brief
because he's already a proven method at this point. I mean, they're like, oh my God, this Stephen Greer guy, he's just a doctor, but he's already contacting the aliens. How is he doing it?
The incoming director of the CIA for President Bill Clinton. And that subsequently led to a number of things you're going to hear about with initiatives that began then and are now, ironically, going full circle and culminating now this week and in the months to follow.
Yeah.
So this
is leading up to a major grift, guys. I'm telling you right now. I thought he would he was just going to smooth this over, get some quick attention. But I think this is going into a major grift mode for him. Maybe his last stand, Stephen's last grift, like the ultimate grift of all times. Let's hear it.
That is how I got involved with this. Eventually, it overtook my medical career.
Yeah.
And those of you who've seen the documentaries, Unacknowledged, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, the Lost Century, and others, and those are all available for free on various streaming sites.
You notice how he didn't bring up Sirius, right? I didn't get to that one. I have covered it in the past, though. So it is in Disclosure Project Part 2 plus Project Bluebeam and the UFO Alien Rabbit Hole series. That's the episode where I do cover a lot of things I was going to rehash tonight. So, and I still may do another part to this. Depends on how we get through this on time. Let's let Stephen continue to bullshit us. Let's go.
Sites for you to look at to get context. You'll know there's been a long trajectory of working on this, and I've been dealing with most recently Senate Intelligence and Armed Services Committee and key people in the U.S. government as well as foreign governments to prepare them for this disclosure that's now happening. The team that will be coming forward, we'll get to in a moment. I just want
we possibly be prepared for disclosure if we didn't have Dr. Steve. Dr. Steve. He needs to prepare. Okay, now breathe in, breathe out. Okay, now I want you to imagine a world where aliens are amongst us. I'm preparing you for disclosure. Okay, I'll just go ahead and undo your pants real quick because I am a doctor. But what's he preparing people to do? I don't get it.
I want to give everyone sort of a good background context of how we got from there to here. And so it's a big story, 34 years of work. Now, one thing all of you can go to is you go to dpiarchive.com, which has the
34 years of work, but they just contacted him 20 months ago.
Entire Disclosure Project Intelligence Archive up there. It's 34 years of evidence material, hundreds of top secret whistleblowers. It gives you the location of 150 plus sites where UFO and UAP activity has been going. Some of them are key black sites that are that we've mapped. And all of that information is from some of the over 700 whistleblowers that I have debriefed over the years and where we've gathered intelligence and information. So the Disclosure Project has become, ironically, the biggest repository of intelligence and information on this subject and exceeds what the Senate intelligence and key people in the Pentagon have who are not in those illegally run programs. I want to emphasize that there are two governments dealing with this. There's the constitutional government. Most of the people in that government have no idea what's going on. And I can say that with authority because I'm one of the only people you'll ever meet who has briefed people at that level of government since 1993, when I briefed the incoming President Clinton's CIA director. Then, the other part of it is in Congress, or most people in Congress, they know nothing about the subject, even if they're on key oversight committees. So this has been something that was a shock to me. It's going to be a shock to you. It's going to be a shock to the world and the American public to find out that the constitutional government in the United States since the late 1950s have been basically pushed aside and relegated to irrelevance, frankly, on this issue since the late Eisenhower years. And so this whole history we will unpack over a series of these episodes because it's very important to understand the context of how we got from there to here. But importantly, right now, the crisis of the moment is that there are a number of people coming forward from various black sites, which are highly classified, illegally run operations in intelligence, military, and corporate programs And those guys that I've been meeting with for about almost 2 years now, 20 months, have decided to come forward publicly, identify themselves, and in a controlled release begin to give the information to the American people and the U.S. government. So this is a very complex program. It's now coming to a sort of a crescendo, and this is why I think we need to be talking with each other every week or so.
So let's go to the first question, which is going to be about human technology. What is the real capacity of human technology?
Right. Well, here, the biggest part of this story isn't the extraterrestrial part of it, ironically. That's secondary. And in fact, people who have been in these covert programs that are very disinformation oriented have wanted the public to believe we're not alone, but that there's a threat from outer space. And most of you who are familiar with my work know what Werner von Braun, through his spokesperson for the last 5 years of his life, Carol Rosin, said when he was dying, and in 1974 said the whole purpose of these covert programs, one of the big overarching purposes, is to be able to hoax a attack or an alien threat and present the extraterrestrial presence as a threat so that they can consolidate military power, industrial power, and also pivot the population through fear into realizing there's another enemy to fight. Now, when you're doing that, it's a long-term psychological warfare operation, a PSYOP.
Oh, that's why
and the best way to do that is once they figured out and reverse engineered the extraterrestrial vehicles, the NHI craft, as we're calling them now, non-human intelligence craft. Those then began to be deployed in the late 1950s into operational craft that look like a UFO. For most people in the lay public, they're indistinguishable from a vehicle. And those have been used in deceptive operations known as false flag operations. And these include everything that's in the pop culture on the subject, human abductions by aliens, mutilations of cattle and humans, and all kinds of skullduggery. Now, we can prove, if you go to our archive, that this has been a CIA PSYOP for many, many decades.
I won't show you the proof. You'll take my word on it because I'm Stephen fucking Greer, man.
Look at The Lost Century and some of the other documentaries we've done. We put that evidence in there. I'm not going to unpack all that right now.
No,
but the big story has always been the technology, because without the technology, they couldn't hoax the threat, which is completely false. Anybody with any understanding of this, and even members of Congress are saying this now, like Congressman Burchett and others, that if they were hostile, we would have been totally obliterated by now because of what we've been doing as soon as we detonated the first atomic weapons. So the real issue becomes, because if they were hostile, what are we still doing? You know, and why are we still here targeting them and knocking them out of the sky? We'll get into this in a moment. It's because they're not hostile. They're here to help us and understand us, but they're waiting for us.
We understand. Humans. We understand if you shoot us down. It's okay. We don't care. We don't care. It's all good. It's all good. Now, the aliens, well, they're trying to make us believe the aliens are a threat, but they're not hostile. In fact, they're cool. If you want to shoot them down a couple of times a year, no problem. No problem. We'll just make more. We'll make more. The aliens are our friends. They're here to help us. And, you know, if they were hostile, as soon as we decided to do what we wanted to do on our planet, and, you know, with atomic weaponry and all, they would have taken over. They would have said, enough is enough. Enough is enough. You can't do what you want to on your own planet. We're the aliens, damn it.
To grow up to a level of evolution where we can live peacefully on the planet, become a planet using advanced technology, i.e. not fossil fuels or.
Yeah, they're the ones. They're the ones who decide for us what's best for us. They're altruistic aliens.
Solar or what have you, but very advanced technologies and physics. And then join them out in space, eventually in an interplanetary.
Aren't we already out in space? Yeah, you know, the thing is, Elon says, I haven't seen anything. He goes, I'll be the first one to tell you, I promise you. I got satellites everywhere. I haven't seen shit.
Society over the long haul, over hundreds and thousands of years.
Oddly enough,
that's their objective.
Elon's one of those guys.
Now, the objective of covert programs has been to attack these objects, seize them, study how they work, what's called reverse engineering.
Oh, thanks for clarifying.
You take something and you take it apart, and you study it and study it.
This is what he does. He goes in these explanations, like I guess what, Shelley, this is what mansplaining is. Like, he's explaining things that we already know. Right. And that's how he builds his credibility. Regulated to relevance, frankly. Empty phrases that say nothing. Right. Sorry, I burst bubbles. Do it.
and study it, figure out how it works, and then rebuild it to the best of your ability. Those reverse engineering programs started in the 1940s, and they hit really major pay dirt, let's say, results in October of 1954 when they mastered gravity control.
Wow. So we've mastered gravity control since 54, and they've kept it from us because they need to prepare us for an alien invasion, so we'll give them all the power. Yeah,
have that information from the top scientists at the Naval Research Labs, the biggest Department of Defense labs in the world, who saw that document in, quote, the vault some years ago in the 1990s and informed us about that. So
quick. I see it. I found something in the vault, sir. What should we do? Get Stephen Greer on the phone, God damn it. Get him on the phone.
I think most of the problems we're going to run into with disclosure is that neither the president nor the Congress nor the general public and media understand what the technologies are that have been figured out already that can be used in deceptive and, you know, malicious ways. So I think this is why we have to have this conversation now, because those systems, not only have they already been used to create the specter of a danger from outer space, and never mind Hollywood and the media and everything ufological being very terrifying to the general public. But I think that
he doesn't give us a lot of credit. He thinks we're all a bunch of giant, you know what's.
With this coming out, there's a big risk that they will start hitting buttons to make more and more false flag operations happen. And the only way they can get away with that is by the populace and our leaders being tricked. And the only way you can prevent people from being tricked is having the knowledge, the facts of what we actually have,
which he won't provide to you.
So that's what I want to talk about for just a moment.
All right.
Now imagine this.
He'll give you his
in your paradigm.
Entertainment version of it.
The week that the head of the Lockheed Skunk Works, the fabled director of that, Ben Rich, was passing away. He told a member of our team and a friend of mine, James Goodall, a very well-known aerospace historian, that we had figured all this out. And this is now 1995, so this is 30 years ago. And he says, anything you can imagine and anything you've seen on Star Trek, we already have.
There it is again. All right. So how can the American public or the world not fathom the technologies and be scared of them if we've already seen them on Star Trek? I mean, Star Trek has many movies, many television series that span many years. I mean, they talk about decades and decades of Star Trek indoctrination. Right, we all understand about warp core engines and phasers and quantum torpedoes and the Borg and how to slingshot around the sun to go back in time, teleporters, replicators, holodecks. I think we're pretty much ready, Stephen. I don't know why they would need to go through all this trouble.
And it's not at Area 51. It's out there in the desert with the Lockheed Skunk Works.
Oh, it's Lockheed. It's those guys. They're doing it.
No, I've been at that facility.
Of course you have. You're Dr. Stephen fucking Greer, a new age club founder and emergency room physician.
And I've been there in the last 15 months. So what he was saying was that we have figured this out, but the folks who have, let's say, an overarching desire to control the population through fear.
Name names. Who is it?
Through endless war, through control of the energy sector. This is key. They don't want the full truth out. They want part of the truth out.
Oh, so I mean, who are we talking about here, man? Is this the deep underground people that are corporate military, but they're corporate? I mean, is it Lockheed Martin Skunk Works? Is it what is it?
And they want the part that redounds to their benefit, that serves their agenda. This is why in 1999, I wrote a paper, which you can see on our website, drstephengreer.com, that states that this is the disclosure that serves secrecy. And the disclosure of this subject that serves the secret agenda, which is what that means, is a disclosure that would present a threat and where they could hoax a threat. And then that causes the world to unite sort of around a dystopic totalitarian military response, like the movie Independence Day. Go look at.
Oh, just like in the movies.
That's right out of CIA scripting.
Oh, that's CIA scripting. It wasn't Stephen Greer scripting that he saw the movie and was like, I can use this stuff
against the ETs. So now how could they do that? They couldn't pull that off if they hadn't figured out how these objects work.
Well, why don't they just release them and take over the world then?
I will tell you that from 1995 to now.
I mean, we couldn't stop this shit. Couldn't stop it.
Now, the man-made craft, they're called ATs, advanced technology, or ARVs, alien reproduction vehicles.
Alien reproduction vehicles, like traveling orgies.
They're used interchangeably. The euphemism used actually in the aerospace industry is just AT, an advanced technology, which of course is vague deliberately. And those craft,
because you're Dr. Stephen Greer, emergency room physician, who started a new age meditation group and has been abducted by aliens, and now here you are.
At this point, or to even very trained eyes, virtually indistinguishable from an extraterrestrial vehicle or craft. So though that creates a big problem, because if we do not get those powerful interests under some kind of
and how are you going to do that when they have Star Trek technology and they can shoot down alien crafts? How are we going to do that? I guess you're going to have to call the aliens in to help us, aren't you?
Safe and peaceful control of those technologies, then those can be unleashed to stage, hoax, all kinds of problems.
That's exactly what you say. This is how this whole shit started. You saying that's what happened in New Jersey. You're saying that it's all government cover up to make sure that you don't know about this other stuff, right? Even though it's just people out there, filming on their phones, and other people out there flying their drones around
on a number of fronts. So whatever you think, remember this in context of the recent drone events, all kinds of events that have been happening. Whatever you think humans have in these deep black programs, these illegal black programs, it's more and it's worse.
Okay, so let your imagination run wild with that one. It's deep and it's worse, right? So what's stopping? What are they waiting for again? What's holding them back? I'm still yet to understand why these people haven't taken over the world. And it seems like he implicates people like people at the WEF or the UN, or big globalist conglomerations and the military industrial complex. Yet at the same time, he disassociates them as well, as in there's some other group we don't know about, right? That are beyond them, that are just they're puppeting them. He's getting into this like Illuminati kind of like culty kind of area that where we can't prove anything, we can't find them, they can't name names, they're unnameable. Right, they're unnameable. They're the real puppet masters.
Now, the
conspiratainment people would love, they love it. Yeah, you can't even get to them, man. Never mind the people that are out in front of you telling you this is what we're about to do to you. Agenda 2030. It's on their website. You can go look at it. It's right there. They're telling you what they're building. They're building the structures to take over and to put you into their stakeholder capitalism system. Right? They're telling you they're going to do it. They're telling you what date they're going to get things done by. They're literally going out and plotting in person at Davos. They're telling you exactly what their agendas are. They're telling them what's not working, what is working, how they're going to do it. Their entire thoughts, their entire altruistic plan to take care of us because we're too dumb to take care of ourselves, right? And this one is for the dudes. All right, Toy, thank you for the $2 super chat. Mass for the dudes. This guy is unaliving my brain. Yeah, that's all Steven. That's how he does it. That's how he does it.
The good news. Now let's talk about the other side of that.
Oh, the good news.
The good news is that this a controlled and safe release of that information and technology, which is the objective of this group of defectors and whistleblowers coming out.
This is the other group, the Delta Force, Navy SEAL, Green Beret guys.
In the next couple of days.
Oh, no. These are the whistleblowers from that group. Okay, my bad. The ones I just talked about were another group that were going to go after him. And he arranged the handshake of these two groups. Of course, they're deep secret. So how do people know about them? And yet they both came to Greer. They both came to Greer because he's the man.
Is that we could transform the world economy and civilization to where we reach what's called a level 1 civilization.
Level 1. There's a Michio Kaku come flying in.
Kaku talks about where we're no longer down.
Do I know this shit or what? I literally said his name and then he said it right after me. Michio Kaku and his level 1 civilization, right? And hey, don't worry, level 1 civilization can control the weather too.
Managing the environment. Within 20 years, there's no poverty on the planet. There's this big leap forward.
That sounds like the WEF plan, doesn't it?
for all of humanity, not just the United States, but the United States would obviously lead that because we're the largest military and economic power on the planet. And it would also clean the environment.
Oh,
Visualize,
yeah,
if you will, like during COVID.
Instantly, climate change gone, pollution gone, drug addiction gone, bums gone.
When no one was going anywhere. And there were mountains in urban areas in the distance that you couldn't see for decades, and they were crystal clear because nobody was driving and there was no industrial output. But imagine full advanced technological civilization. But you have this wonderful technology that's pulling energy out of the fabric of the space around an object, what's called the quantum vacuum or zero-point energy field.
Oh, the zero-point energy field. Take notes, kids.
And that technology is safely deployed to run the planet, to run your house, to run your car, to run African villages, to run villages in the rain.
Look at what they got here, Mom. We got a zero-point energy. You know. People in African villages. In their huts, they got the fire. They're standing around. They're dancing. They're having a good old time doing what they do, right? And then they got the eldermen with the zero-point energy. Here, turn on the lights. You know,
forests in the Amazon, so they don't have to cut down the forest.
Yeah, dude, just put the zero-point energy to save the rainforest, save the whales. You're gonna save it all.
Charcoal to cook their food. The
zero-point energy will make charcoal to cook their food. Beautiful.
Would be within 20 years. The biggest advancement in human history, in known recorded human history.
Wow.
Way more. There's nothing.
Do you think?
That comes close. But that's why it's also secret. In other words, what I've been told by people in the national security apparatus who've been on the side of keeping this secret.
Now, look, Stephen, we know you're an emergency room doctor who started a new age cult to speak to aliens through meditation because you took a bunch of mushrooms and sat on a hill in college, right? But let me tell you some deep, top secret stuff from inside the government.
And I've had many meetings like that. Is that it's too good, and what that means is it's disruptive. You know, the internet was disruptive. Horse and buggies, were eliminated by cars and engines. Typewriters were replaced by keyboards and computer systems. There will be winners and there will be losers, but the real winner is all of humanity and the Earth herself.
Can we be honest about it? Typewriters were really replaced by printers, weren't they?
Because we'll have a sustainable civilization within our, I'm not just spring chicken, but perhaps even within my lifetime.
You think? I thought within 3 days. Now it's your lifetime.
Where it won't even resemble the way the world is today. So it's a very forward-looking, positive event happening. But there are also these landmines out there. In other words, very powerful interests who don't want to have us go into that future could start disrupting that future. And this is why.
They're like, we don't want that. Screw that shit. We don't want them to have all this great stuff. We're bad guys. Okay, if you're bad guys, won't you just take over the world using it? What are you waiting for? Well, we're waiting for the massive. Hold on, this doesn't make any sense anymore. You're waiting for the long-term strategy to take effect. You have the technology. You're 1,000 years ahead. Everybody, you can go at multiple times the speed of light. Transdimensional travel. You can shoot down aliens. You become a threat to the aliens, according to his last interview. Now he's on his podcast. He's cleaning things up, I guess. But when you go on and you talk about this stuff like you mean it, there are records of these things. Like we go all the way back and look at it, what he's been saying for decades now, right? And you're going to find all kinds of swerves and all kinds of additions and subtractions to the story. And that's what a lot of people who just get into it now and be like, oh, wait, that's the guy I've seen his face before. That's the disclosure guy. Then they're going to go back and watch 10, 20 years of shit to understand if this guy's full of it or not. Are they going to go on day one and this new podcast? We're right around the corner. This is Disclosure Project 2 is what it is. That's what I'm starting to figure out. This is Disclosure Project 2 because he did the same thing with Disclosure Project 1 in that I sent you a new video interview with the guy that filmed it apparently. Oh, okay. What's this? Let's see what this is. The guy that filmed it. What did he say? Well, this is an hour 23 minutes too. Isn't this the same thing we're watching? Yeah. Hey, this is what we're watching right here, Madcore. This is it right here. We're watching it. And interview, unless I'm missing something that you sent me. And interview. What's this? Wait. I'm sorry. I clicked on T3s. Oh, this guy, the Marine who filmed the Iraqi gimbal UAP, Jeremy Colbert, the guy interviewed gimbal. Okay. Hold on, this assignment. All right, I have to go back to
we'll
that.
talk about what else needs to be done by the
George Knapp,
president, the Congress, and the heads of states of other countries. And that's going to be a key part of what we'll be discussing over the coming weeks, months, and years on this podcast.
Dr. Greer, you've talked about this transnational organization that controls this. Can you explain this to the audience and talk about the urgency to neutralize the capabilities of this organization? Because I think
and how the hell you do it when they have everything that they need to kick your ass from from their home, basically teleport in, transporter in, and go.
I think it's the government covering it up, and they don't have a clear idea of who is actually behind the cover-up.
Yeah, that's a great question, Michael. And one of the thing that tilted my life axis was December 13th, 1993, when I had a prolonged meeting with the director of the CIA for Bill Clinton, R. James Woolsey, a meeting he subsequently denied happening because.
You think so? You think he denied it? Do you think so? Maybe because it never happened. Like none of your meetings that you ever say that you're doing happen. There's no record of any of these meetings. There's no record of him debriefing the transition team for Trump. The one thing he won't bullshit about is talking to Elon. He's like, oh, well, I haven't talked to him. Because he knows Elon will get on X and blast him across the universe. Be like, what are you talking about, you poser? I mean, dude, you know what? That's what's going to happen to this guy is he's on X right now doing this. If he gets Elon's attention, man, it's all over for Stephen Greer. Like I said, we need to arrange a handshake between these guys, I think.
Well, my commentary on that is you don't want to hear it. But
don't even go into that. Why the fuck he would deny the fact that he ever talked to someone like you, right? Not that you have no credentials, you have no qualifications to be talking to the CIA yet. You say you did, and yet he denies it.
It's Washington, and it's lawyers and politicians and what have you. And everybody knows what that means. So, but as a consequence of that person,
you think so?
What I realized is that the constitutional
he does it for free. He does it for free. This was like my conversation about what controlled opposition really is. Like, you don't have to have a contract or be getting paid big money. Well, people are, right? To be a disinformation agent or to be a controlled opposition. All you have to do is have somebody around you or near you that can get you things that they know you'll react to a certain way. Or like in the UFO field, if the government says they don't know what it is, it's an alien. And these guys come out of the woodwork, like with the drones, like with Stephen Greer right here, starting his new podcast on X, already kicking my ass, right? Already kicking everybody else's ass here that creates and making big money, right? Living in that beautiful house, paying for all those kids he has, paid off that medical degree, medical license, does it for free, but just bought a multi-million-dollar house last year on a huge farm. How about that? Yeah, I mean, but that he makes that money conspiracy grifting. He makes that money making documentaries. I mean, people are constantly buying his shit, watching his shit. He goes on Dana and David's podcast, and he probably gets paid for that. Oh, wow. Yeah, he's kind of expensive, but he's worth it because we'll get clicks and views, right? So, I mean, there are a lot of these people that guest on, they're not like people we know that'll come on the show for free and just, have a good old time. These people want money. I mean, even that one Scott, trans Scott, right? The one that detrans and was a spokesperson for that. Suzanne wanted me to have this person on. So I reached out to him and went in conversations about having him on, right? and I even talked to B Radio about being part of it. And the conversation came up, how much can you pay us? Thinking, come on. I'm like, there's other people that out there that charge to go on to streams and do interviews. There's people that charge. I'm wondering, some of these authors that are out there, if those actually, I'm wondering if J. Michael Waller will come on out of the kindness of his heart, or if he's going to ask for some money. What about Thomas Sowell? What about other people? I think Brandon Tatum will charge you to come on, and he's a pretty base dude. He's like, my time is my money, my business. So this guy makes money. He makes money. Look, you can buy this T-shirt on his website.
We the people, its president, most of its elected officials, except for a few devils that are in there who are on the payroll of this covert group, really know nothing about the subject. In fact, I would say that all of you who've seen the documentary Unacknowledged knows more than most of the members of Congress and most people in the White House on this subject. And that is a tragedy, and it's dangerous. So the organization that deals with this is not just U.S. It is actually a transnational criminal organization.
But he's expecting Trump to give an executive order so that his secret group can go in there and take down the bad guys with his whistleblowers helping.
It's highly covert. And that is a fact. Not a conspiracy theory. It's a fact.
If you say so, Dave, if you say so, Stephen, definitely not conspiracy theory. It's a fact because Stephen Greer, emergency room doctor, says so.
Proven in any court of law. And I want to
remind what court of law is going to listen to it?
People.
Where are we going to do
one
it?
of our early disclosure project witnesses who appeared at the National Press Club in 2001,
which means nothing.
Almost 24 years ago,
yeah,
right before 9/11, is a man named Carl Wolf, who is since deceased. But he, in 1968, was at at Langley Air Force Base at a national security agency compartmented operation, where they were analyzing the early digital images coming back from the moon, from the lunar orbiter that went around the moon to map it before we landed a year later in 69. And he was called in to repair some equipment in this compartmented operation.
I remember this story.
He walks in, and you look at his testimony.
This is the one where he walks in and he's just there to repair the equipment, and someone gives him some stuff.
It's up on our archive, our website, dpiarchive.com. And he says it was like a United Nations. There was people from all over the world in there, China, other countries that you'd say, oh, those are our enemies. No, they were in a compartmented operation dealing with this. That was 1968. That was how many years?
He said it, so it happened. All right.
Now
he wasn't trying to get attention.
So
he wasn't trying to get on the conspiracy grip
almost. And so
when
you think about that, extrapolate that data point from that whistleblower.
You have to believe that in order for it to be real. See, this is where the fallacies start rolling in, right? We don't know that what that guy said is real. It's hearsay. It's his word against everybody else. It's that was never definitively proved. It's a story he told, right? But yet now it is proof positive evidence to hold up this premise that he's laying out. And there's your fallacy, and that's how it works.
And I've heard this from many others. And what you have to realize is that the organization running this is not only US, it's dispersed around the world and is embedded. It's a bit like a metastatic cancer. It's gone through the whole body politic.
Sounds very complicated, right? How do they keep that shit organized with 0 point energy?
And have enough technologies and power and money and influence to maintain a corrupt enterprise. So this is why no president or Congress.
Yeah, it does cost a lot to maintain a corrupt enterprise. That's for sure.
In order to get this under control up till now. And
he's worth $6.61 million. Professional bullshit shoveler. $6.61 million, according to my source here. Sirius depicts a 6-inch, 15-centimeter human skeleton known as the Atacama skeleton, which was claimed to be an alien skeleton. Yes, I exactly. I covered that. And it was not. It was indeed a little human being.
The good news is that there are a number of people in those operations who want to come out.
Yes, and what we're gonna do is get rid of the HR department and the accounting department. It's all going to collapse because they have 1,000 years ahead of us alien technology, 0 point energy, tractor beams, teleporters, holodecks, phaser rifles, everything you see on Star Trek and worse, and whatever you can imagine worse than that. His words all night long, right? But we got enough people in there to take him down. Don't you worry, everything's gonna be fine.
They want to defect, but It's
want
by
it
no
effect.
means over. And this is why another part of what we've been doing, and I mean, this is in this, well, it's a big tome, but this is a, this is the new briefing document for the incoming administration and Congress.
How professional that is. Look at that. The new briefing document. You're going to brief Congress with, what is it? What's it called? Sensationalism and conceptualism? Oh, sensitive and confidential. Sensitive. Oh, better be careful. That printed out piece of paper and that little binder you got from Home Depot or Staples. Well, I'll slide it right in here. Let's see. It's very convenient because the plastic opens up at the top and you can slide the paper right in. Yes, this is sensitive and confidential. Is that and off center? Is that off center? Or is that just the paper? It looks like it's like slanted for like groovy effect.
This is the new briefing document for the incoming administration and Congress. And it's the biggest one I've done. I've done them since Clinton in the 90s. But in it, there are a series of executive orders and for the president and recommendations to the Congress. And also there are versions of this for other heads of state elsewhere that we're briefing. And in it, it very clearly recommends that there needs to be a law enforcement operation stood up that gets these programs, at least the most malignant ones of them, on a leash and gets them under control, because the technologies that they have are so advanced that when they are used maliciously, and they have been already in many ways, that we'll go into maybe another time, that it's a threat to national security, but also global security. And this is something that can't continue, because the technology arc from the 40s to now, it was gradual, and then it went like this, and it continues to go nonlinear.
Blue Lantern, what's up?
And this is not things that you're going to see, at MIT and Harvard. These are in covert programs, engineering and science programs that are deeply secretive. And those technologies, when they're used for good, could be of extraordinary value.
You think so? I mean, this is like what he just muddles on about shit, right? But,
as a medical doctor, I know of ones that would be incredibly valuable for healing.
Oh, you're still a medical doctor?
Emergencies and for fixing very chronic problems as well as acute traumatic issues. But at the same time,
they're cute.
Those technologies have applications that would save the biosphere and eliminate poverty and pollution.
Yes.
But that same technology can be used as a weapon, right? So all technology is a double-edged sword. And what it is who is wielding it? Who is controlling how it's used? Who is determining? What is the consciousness and the motivations of the people who wield that technology, who have it? And that
you're supposed to know.
Almost an existential question, isn't it? Spiritually, not necessarily religious.
You're supposed to be telling us. You're the one handshaking and going to the sites and seeing it for yourself. Why you holding back, brah? Why you holding back?
But what is the consciousness of the people who have that technology? Are they hell bent on destruction and endless war?
You have the
or do they want
contact.
a world of peace and of universal peace on earth and in the heavens? So this becomes really dispositive, deterministic of how the outcome of this whole endeavor that's been going on for so long will turn out. And so what has to happen, though, we cannot whistle past this graveyard. So there is a separate team of people, and I've checked with them. I'm okay to say what I'm about to tell you. And what I'm about to tell you is it's explosive and sensitive, as if all of this isn't. But there's a special access project, top secret, special compartmented information, that's under a law enforcement entity that has been, we've been briefing the person who's been asked to direct that for about 20 months now, and also his senior operators. And these are guys who've been Green Berets of Special Forces who separated from the military now and are prepared under executive order to go forward and get the most sensitive and damaging aspects of these illegal covert operations under control here in the United States. They also have a plan to do it, what's called OCONUS, outside the continental United States. CONUS is continental United States. OCONUS is outside continental United States. So that they have been asked to do that, but they have not yet gotten the funding and the go to do it. Now, with what's coming out this week and in the subsequent weeks and months, because this is going to be a gradual release over the next few months, that urgently needs to happen. It absolutely, and this is in the executive orders for the incoming president, the current president, and the Congress. Ironically, if you go into our archive, you'll see those same recommendations were made to Bill Clinton 30 years ago. So, it's kind of for me, we won't get in what it's been like for me, but a long, mind-blowing and frustrating and death-defying journey. But at this point, we're at this inflection point where all that can get resolved because there are enough people. There's been a generational change. There are enough people in the mid to upper levels of these covert programs that want out. They want it to, let's call it they're calling these legacy programs, the old operations from the 40s till now. They want out of that, and they want a pathway out. And this is why that operation, we're hoping, will not have the hardliners prevail. We'll have the moderate and intelligent people who are looking forward in a positive way prevail. If that happens, it's a new world. And if it doesn't happen, it can be very dangerous. So the stakes here cannot be overstated. I'm not trying to be frightening to people, but it cannot be overstated. Now, the good news is that there is a kind of a critical mass of people coming forward who want to see that happen. The bad news is that the constitutional leaders who are elected and appointed don't have enough information, and they don't have enough detail and to make.
I was looking through some stuff trying to. If these operations are operatives are retired and they're no longer subject to the president, they are no. Yeah, again, when you spin a yarn this long and this wide, right? It's just a matter of keeping people sucked in. They don't have to make sense. They don't have to make sense. That pushed me to say, okay, God, this journey is going to have to just be me and you because there are people down there fucking suck. Oh man.
These assessments, we're offering to do that and help them with this. It's also why this team of guys who are defecting, who dealt with this very up front, and at a high level, the lead guy I've been dealing with has been involved since 1995.
Sorry, guys. Yeah. So now this lead guy, he's been involved with since 1995. Again, the story, it just keeps going. The lead guy, 95. Suddenly now it goes back to 95. Now, in 93, I believe, is when he started his new agey thing, right?
Offering to do that and help them with this. It's also why this team of guys who are defecting, who dealt with this very up front, and at a high level, the lead guy I've been dealing with has been involved since 1995, almost 30 years as a young special forces guy, and now he's high up in there. So we're wanting to help the governments here and around the world come together and figure out a path forward that is peaceful and is a transformation rather than a conflict. So that's our objective. And by the way,
1990 founded the Center for Studies of Extraterrestrial Intelligence, or CSETI. 1990 is when he started that. And so he said by 1995, he already was buddy with the guy who is part of this.
You go all the way back to the Clinton era. I had recommended a period of amnesty for people who've been involved in these programs, and even though there have been some horrific things done,
didn't listen to Stephen.
Kidnappings, murder, torture, embezzlement of, in the aggregate, probably trillions of dollars of federal monies, et cetera, and so on. That if people come forward and they actually come clean and agree to make a new chapter happen, that's a beautiful development for humanity, that they have amnesty extended to them.
But
for
instead,
Zebra alert. Zebra alert. Zebra alert. Zebra alert. Zebra alert. Zebra alert. Kill everyone in there. 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 Zebra alert. Kill everyone in there.
Mission accomplished.
Hello, Moscow. Moscow, are you on the line? Moscow, we've got a full code zebra alert here going down. Someone panicked and called in a full code zebra alert. We're watching Stephen Greer's podcast here, and sensitive information has been leaked out. And we are just saying, do you know what's going on in Moscow? No. Okay. Well, I guess we'll call you back later. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for picking up. All right. Goodbye. Okay, we can stand down now. Everything's fine. We followed protocol to a T. And how many did we lose, Wolfram? How many did we lose? Did everybody follow protocol? Did we come through 100%? Let me go ahead and get us back to okay. Whew, man, those things are scary. They are scary. I told you, man. I told you. Good thing everybody kept quiet during that, because if you had spoken and not had your zebra badge on, you would have gotten nuked, and you would have gotten taken out. Once the wolf is set upon you, there's no pulling him back. But yeah, everybody made it through good. See, that's why we do the drills, because when it really goes down, we need everybody to make it through okay. All right, that's the full zebra alert. Oh man, woo! That was close. All right, so everything's fine. Moscow doesn't seem to know what's going on, so we can go on with our program here. I guess it just got someone got a little panicky, and luckily no one here got hurt. Like I said, it's all about preparation, becoming part of it, and preparing yourself mentally and physically for the event, and then having your zebra badges at the ready. So good call for everybody who didn't, to stay quiet. But remember, if it does happen to go down again, you're going to need those zebra badges, or you might get taken out by the wolf. You got to be watching out for that. I'm sure he's cleaning and putting the machine gun away now, and we'll get back to it.
In late December of 2023, the National Defense Authorization Act, which had a provision for safe harbor, which is amnesty for these kinds of figures, was passed unanimously by the Senate the day after our June or early July, no, it was June 2023 National Press Club event. They passed that, and I had helped people there that I was working with put the right language in that Senate amendment to the Defense Authorization.
He's so busy. This $6 million man, he is so busy. He does everything. He's constant. I'm so involved in everything, yet nothing gets done. Guys, what do you think of this? What do you think of these predictions here? I can't. I'm not gonna listen to him for another hour and a half. I'll tell you that. Because we're gonna keep this at about 3 hours. And is there anything else? We'll keep an eye on his podcast. Maybe we'll have to check in weekly and see what kind of bullshit he's talking about next. I think that it will quickly get old. However, until the inauguration, we are still on disclosure watch. So Stephen didn't disclose anything today. Let me just skip to the end here. Well, who's this dude? Is this like his boyfriend? I think it's the guy who was like walking around in the background of that interview with David Spade and
Under Control. He says, well, Dr. Greer,
David Spade and Dana Carvey. I think this guy was the one walking around in his bathrobe in the background.
I have learned that there are aircraft that are human that can do circles. And that's what he did. He did like this, circles around our B-2 stealth bombers, which is the best thing I know about. So he said it's point set match. National security law around it. So it's
all right, hold on.
Contacts, my POC.
20 minutes.
20
minutes.
That had some documents, a couple that had not been.
Yeah, it's okay, Sir Frank. As long as you're fine, we don't want anything to happen. Let's change this up for Scott Free Freedom. Thank you for the super chat, Scott Free Freedom. $2 Canadian. Let's go freedom. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. As I do appreciate you, sir. All right, let's get on back into it. I think I got to come up with this Canadian chick for Scott.
Declassified that because these programs are illegal, we have declared all those documents open source and all the whistleblower testimony open source.
Oh, wait, that's a good idea. Why don't we just do that?
Just a little note here to whistleblowers listening. You're under no obligation from your non-disclosure agreements because you were signed it under an operation.
Thank God. Okay, now I can come out and talk about it, guys. Thank God. I didn't know until I saw this podcast, but I'm under no obligation to keep my mouth shut about any of the shit anymore. Stephen just gave me permission to come full on out and say, look, this whole thing, everything I've been doing, it's been a cover for the real thing that's about to happen here. That's why I have you guys here. I want you to see this. It's very important. My job was to be an emissary to the most elite minds on the internet, which is you guys. And by the algorithm that I put out and the topics I put out, I systematically brought each of you here without you knowing about it. But I'll show you how it was done because of our accelerated intelligence, right? And you don't know it yet, but each one of you have a vital role to play in this coming future, this beautiful 0-point energy future. And you will be playing key roles in the preparation and the debriefing of people and the preparation for our transition into this beautiful new utopia Stephen is talking about. And it's been my pleasure to be your guide from one point to another to bring you in. And as you could see, Stephen had told me that in the new year, this would be coming and that I should go ahead and unveil from the avatar into real life so that I could help guide you, prepare you for this important transition in your new role in this new world. And just like that, Scott, you're going to be in charge of Canada, obviously. Each one of you have an important role to play in this coming future. And as we put Scott in charge of, he'll be the new prime minister there for the new age Canada, as well as other ones, just to kind of give you. Sir Frank Otter will be taking over the UK. We will have people in each and every state and every country playing a vital role and helping bring people and prepare them for this transition to utopia. And I just want to say congratulations. I knew you could do it. And that you're all here now. And now that I am free from any of my NDA, I can now speak freely about this. And I feel like I've really just got 1,000 pounds lifted off my shoulders. The first important thing you need to start doing is sending in super chats and buying the t-shirts and the documentaries. This shows Stephen that you're on board with what's going on. Wait, I don't have any t-shirts or documentaries. Oh shit. All right. Well, I got to work on that. I'm a little behind. All right. I got a little behind. My deep cover required me to actually have a day job and a family. So I had, my deep cover was important in order to keep the bad guys off of the trail of what I was doing and collecting the bravest minds and the most enlightened people for the transformation process. But, now that the NDA has been lifted, I can actually go and talk as a true part of this initiative here. And a whistleblower as well. I'm a whistleblower too. And so all that is now coming out. And this was he said, watch the podcast. I'll have a special code for you. And when you hear it, you'll know what to do. And thank goodness I can finally just be myself. And every show now will just be about this. Okay. That's what we're going to do from now on. So make sure you're here because I will be giving your assignments out as I get orders handed down exponentially from our dear and fearless leader, Stephen Greer. And then you will be directed to sign. You will get your own free 0-point energy technology. And you will be teleported from your living rooms to your new destinations where you will live in. You will live without a want or a need and in pure ecstasy. And you will all eventually we will all be meeting on the giant spaceship floating above Earth. Okay.
Constitutional and illegal. Therefore, it has no force of law. That's the foundation of the Disclosure Project. Nobody quite understands this. The constitutional lawyers will.
Yes.
Because that's how I came about this theory and ran it by some constitutional attorneys.
Plenty of them.
Both left and right, who said, yes, that's absolutely true. If the program itself is an illegal program, it can't then enforce national security law around it. So it's basically they've outed themselves as an open source entity by going off the constitutional boundaries and operating illegally and lying to the president.
Yeah, you guys screwed up.
Anyway, so this gentleman had a
we
interest
laugh
in this
about
issue.
all the time down at the office.
So I gave Admiral Wilson in advance some materials through that and through him starting to know where to look. And this is what I've been doing with Senate Intelligence and Armed Services and other committees recently. He hit pay dirt. He contacted an office that was directly related to this. And when he...
Hold on. Hold on 1 second.
Hey, buddy, you tired?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't keep your eyes open?
Yeah.
Yeah. You been nodding off a little bit?
Yeah.
It's okay, buddy.
Yeah.
If you want to go to sleep, I can. You go ahead. Go to sleep. I'll.
Have a good night, Wolfram. Thank you so much, man. I'm glad no one got shot. But you know, we made it through it. We made it through it. And thank you for your service, sir, for the great cause, the great work that we are doing. Onward and upward, as everybody says good night to the wolf. There we go. And up he goes. Tag. And he just wants to remind you to listen to him because he knows what he's talking about. Make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell, and do all that fun stuff because we are going to transition into the 7th dimension before you know it. And you want to be here for that, don't you?
Them. What I heard, what was relayed to me, is that he said, "Look, I'm Admiral Wilson. I'm head of J2, head of Intelligence Joint Staff." And they said, "Yes, sir. We know who you are." And he says, "Well, I want to be read into," which is military speak for briefed on this subject, UFOs and UAPs. And back then it was just called UFOs. And he said, and they said, "Sir, you don't have a need to know." And he said, "God damn it, how can I not have a need to know? I'm the head of intelligence for the Joint Chiefs of Staff." They said, "Sir, we will not discuss this with you." And they hung up, blocked him. As
they blocked him too.
He was threatened.
They blocked me. They blocked me. These motherfuckers blocked me. Can you believe it? And they blocked him and they sent him a nasty letter.
And he was threatened with being demoted. Take a star off your lapel.
We already blocked you. What do you want us to take a star off your lapel, General? Huh? We've already blocked you. We've already blocked you. You can't call us now. All right. Your number is blocked.
So when you retire, it's a big pay cut. So he backed off of it. So by the time I get to his office, now remember, this is supposed to be a 45-minute stand-up briefing that I'm doing for the head of Intelligence Joint Staff.
This is the same place he was at for that interview with Spade. And that's his back deck. And this is the guy that was walking around his house.
And
Mazzoli, we're on to you, dude.
In April, because it was April 97.
One of them.
And, you know, he was, of course, nonplussed. I had with me, as a courtesy, I brought astronaut Edgar Mitchell, who was very interested in this.
As a courtesy, I'm going to bring an astronaut with me. This is a courtesy. You can eat him later.
Had one of Eisenhower's young aides in the White House who knew about how Eisenhower was being denied access. Stephen Lubkin, who was an attorney.
How do you just keep going on and on
Signal Corps, and then my assistant and the man.
This is why he makes the big bucks. I mean, can you imagine droning on and on about the same shit over and over again, constantly, year after year? All right, yeah, and then I'm telling the story again for the 100,000th time.
The Navy guy who set up the meeting, and so that's who was there. But I was conducting it, and he kept canceling appointments because it went on and on past the time because he was very keen on it. At the end of it, now this is what's sort of astonishing. Now here you have the head of intelligence for the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and at the end of it, I said, "Look, we need your help to get these programs that are being run illegally," because he had confirmed that at that point, under control. He says, "Well, Dr. Greer, what do I do?" I have learned.
Dr. Greer, tell us what to do, please. You're the smartest guy here.
That are human, that can do circles. And that's what he did. He did like this, circles around our B-2 stealth bombers.
Circles?
The best thing I know.
Why would they do that?
So he said, it's point, set, match. It's checkmate.
Checkmate. You can't do shit.
I don't know how to take on an entity like that. And he said, so I'm out.
Dr. Greer, please help us.
So that's how the meeting ended. That's a true story.
That's great. You didn't answer the question again. The guy asked you, "Dr. Greer, what do we do? I got shit flying around circles around the B-2 bombers. We can't do shit. Game, set, match. Dr. Greer, tell us what to do." And that's when the meeting ended.
Now, there's all kinds of mythology around all of this. But since I was a briefer, you know,
we got to talk about Zeus and Apollo and Mercury and Venus and Mars. We got that kind of mythology.
I say this with some authority. I was the one there. But, you know, I think take that example, everyone listening, multiply that through the White House, the president, the Senate Intelligence Committee, now extrapolate it to the United Kingdom and the heads of state there, Canada, other countries that I've been to. That is the problem globally. It is not just the United States.
So, we need to have everybody check in on this. But how do we do it? We all speak different languages.
So this sort of super secret, parallel secret government entity that Senator Inouye, from Hawaii, said back in during Iran-Contra, he said there exists a secret government with its own Air Force, its own Navy, its own funding mechanism.
A secret government that has its own Air Force, its own Navy. I'm guessing it has its own Army and Marines too. Probably has its own Coast Guard. Probably has its own Space Force, wouldn't you think? And you just don't see it. It's just, you don't see it.
It's free from the law and above the law itself. I'm almost quoting word for word. You can go look at this video. And that is 100% true. And he subsequently confirmed to a young intern who's now helped us as an attorney that was especially true on the UFO issue. So, and that was during Iran-Contra. I mean, that was what, in the 80s or something, 40 years ago.
Yeah, 40
so I think that
years ago.
this is the problem. And I ran into the
bullshit.
same thing with this wonderful, very interesting man who was, this was after I briefed Admiral Wilson. And he was the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency. So for those of you who don't know what that is, it's the top military intelligence agency in the Pentagon that's over all other military intelligence operations. So it's the military version of the director of the CIA. So this is the director of the Defense Intelligence Agency. And it was General Patrick Hughes, a 3-star general. And he asked the same thing as a couple years later, and he asked me to come in and brief him in a briefing at his conference room at the Pentagon. And he had the same thing happen. He had been denied access. He had been blown off, ridiculed. Now, what's ironic, I had whistleblowers in the DIA working under him who were read into compartments, but that never
read in. That means you want to be like, the read in. That's super slang. That's military talk right there. Read me in. I'm in the military.
Made its way up to the top. There were gatekeepers that would block it so that the old man, as they called him,
the old man.
Now people say,
"Don't tell the old man. They'll put you on restriction."
Why would that? How can that happen? Well, it's because the people in those compartments stay in those compartments, and the people who, if you know about this issue and you're at that level of government, it's because they know that you will play ball with the secrecy.
Yeah, you're a ball player.
Will you go along with this rather criminal and frightening level of secrecy or not? If the answer is yes, they'll let you come up. So there have been some CIA directors who've known about this, like George H.W. Bush and Bill Colby and Richard Helms. There are others who haven't. There have been
they're not doing a damn thing about it now.
Some presidents who know a little bit but had no control over it. Some who are told virtually nothing. There are some senators and members of the House who have been read in, others who haven't. The ones who have are the ones who are willing to go along with that agenda. And the ones who aren't, no matter how high your rank, doesn't matter how high, you be the president of the United States, you're not going to be told the truth because they don't want you to know if you're not willing to go along with that agenda, the secret.
Okay, so you have this part too.
That's just the truth. I'm telling you.
This is like prior to the underground deep guys, right? This is like he's going a little bit back in time here. If I remember how you follow his story correctly, the read-in part, right? Some people know and some people don't. They ask you want to be read in, and you say no, you don't get read in. You don't tell you the truth, right? Then if you're willing to pay ball, then you get read in. Well, goddamn, what do we do now? Well, how do people find out about it if they're not read in? Then you have the whistleblowers. The whistleblowers come out and yeah, he still is. This is his pod. This is his new. Instead of disclosure, he disclosed the fact he has a new podcast. Isn't that special? So yeah, that was the big disclosure tonight. Dr. Steele's disclosure day, disclosing of a new podcast. That's what we've learned tonight.
The full truth about how.
I want to see how he wraps this up because I feel like at the end, he's going to tell us like he's got to bait the hook, right? So I want to get through to the end here. We got 10 more minutes, guys. Hang with me so we can know that what he's going to be up to and why and when this disclosure is going to come out, who these people are and what they're going to bring with them. That's what we're waiting for. It's going to, God willing, as we've heard tonight, if God wills it, it'll happen. But if Steven's got a plan, right, then it'll happen, right? Maybe we might have to just keep hanging on podcast after podcast after podcast, waiting for it. This is what Drake did, by the way. Drake Kent Bailey, original Q. He kept people hanging on and hanging on. Not yet. We don't got the green light yet. Hang tight. We're still working on it. Why don't we have the green light yet? Well, because of this. We need to come up with some shit, right? And so we'll come back here next week and we'll talk about it again for 3 hours, right? So we do it again and again and again and again. So it's just bait the hook, bring him down the road. Bait the hook, bring him down the road. Put out a little something in between. Maybe do an interview. Maybe do a short. Something like that. Maybe put a little thing on your ex profile, right? Get a little bit. Well, I think we're getting really close now. I'm going to debrief and meet. I'm flying cross country to meet with the principal. The principal's in charge now, and we had some developments, and I'll be able to get back to you once I know more. Boom, you got him.
Works, the structure of that organization. Now, that dysfunction started in about 1957, 8, 9, late Eisenhower term.
Sure,
it's never been fixed. That's what we're in the process of repairing. It's fixing that big problem
Ironically, I was 3-4 years old when it happened. I was born in 1955, so I'll be 70 this year. And it's just one of these things where
how about that?
It's way dangerous, incredibly dangerous for something like that to remain operating out of control. And that is how you end up in the situation we're in now. So we're trying to find a path out. Lots of people of goodwill who are in these covert programs related to UFOs, UAPs, want that to happen. And I think with what's coming forward in the next, for all I know, it may have come out while I've been doing this. I'm using my phone, but
they don't tell you. They tell you everything. You're the dude they come to about everything, and they put this shit out and then tell you. For all I know, I mean, shit, I'm barely involved.
It will be something that will open, I hope, a new chapter. So that's where we are.
On that note, to wrap up this first episode, what do you want us to keep in mind with these disclosures that are about to hit?
I think part of what's going to happen is that there will be a lot of people, both.
I knew a guy that looked just like this dude, and his first name was Michael, and his last name was Italian like that. And it could be him. I'll go look and see if he's been getting into some trouble. It could be him. No, but his last name started with a P, not an M. But you know, he might change his name around for security purposes. I mean, goddamn, you're freaking podcasting with Stephen Greer. The goddamn whole world, the whole universe is after the guy. For God's sake, you better change your name.
In the UFO subculture, let's call it, as well as in
I'm being
programs,
serious.
take it and spin it.
I'm being serious, man.
And they're going to try to spin it in directions that fit the narrative that they want to advance.
Yeah, I mean,
one of my concerns, I'll be very blunt.
Some people have the nerve, don't they, to spin things in the narratives the way they want things to advance.
Is that as soon as this gentleman and his guys decided to unmask themselves, in other words, come forward named, which was not the original plan. The original plan was to hand over all the a lot of the evidence of these operations.
I know.
The downing of the craft, the man-made ones to me, and
we
I get it
diverted
out.
from the original plan.
They decided to come out publicly.
Yeah.
Well, as soon as that decision was made and they put it on a timeline, i.e. before the inauguration of the next president.
What if I just came out publicly and said, I did it. I'm here. Hey, Steven, I'm here. It's me. Remember? It's me. The inside guy. It was me the whole time. It was winning all along.
President, which is where we are. All the drones stuff started. It was sort of a PSYOP. And, you know, whether they're Chinese or whatever, the button to hit and go on that was.
It's a PSYOP. We know whether they're Chinese or whatever. It just didn't matter, right? Didn't matter. We're going to glaze over this part.
Related to this organization wanting to create the specter of a threat.
Yeah, specter of a threat. These are very threatening drones. The whole thing they've said the entire time is one, it's not aliens, and two, they're not threatening. I mean, that's at least the most consistent thing that we've heard.
And then a number of other ridiculous things happened. Where, for example, the suicide bomber
here it is.
Blew up the Tesla truck at the Trump building on New Year's Day. He wrote a manifesto referring to gravitic propulsion systems, meaning anti-gravity, all the stuff this group is going to bring out. And so everyone thinks that guy was one of our guys. He's not. He had no relation. In fact, no one in my network even knew had ever heard his name.
Okay,
but why did that happen? It appeared to be a PSYOP or something to create a tainted version of this. Now we haven't all the details on it yet. We're investigating it, but it's not everything that meets the eye on that. Same thing with all these drones and this weird fog stuff. There are people all over the internet saying that's an alien invasion starting. Well, all that started literally right after, around the time my meeting with the knock, and who said, I'm going to come out publicly now. I'm going to actually unmask.
Knock. Okay. To me, that means Network Operations Center.
Myself. And I'm going to be coming out with name, rank, serial number. That's a game changer. And particularly someone at that level with other people and representing information from 6 different.
Well, dude, if you're with Dr. Stephen Greer, you're feeling like nice and snug in a blanket, man. You're safe as can be. The world's smartest man who knows everything and everybody. He's been in contact with aliens since he was 17. I mean, why wouldn't you just be like, I'm going to unmask? I run a highly deceptive black ops, black money, corporate international, military ties organizations with 1,000-year alien technology, multiple times speed of light, and transdimensional capabilities, quantum entanglements and shit like that, and Star Trek technologies. But now I'm with you, Stephen. This is like a warm blanket, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and unmask. It's a warm zebra blanket. Yeah, you're right. It's like like being cozied up in a warm zebra blanket. And I'm just going to go ahead and rest my head on your shoulder. And I'm just going to go ahead and unmask. And it'll be fine now because you're here. And I'll make sure you know everything, except for when I'm going to, drop the information. I'm just going to do that randomly. I may let you know.
Black sites. And I've only been over the 2.
So
only
I know
2,
others, but the point I'm making here is that there is a risk here, and the public. This is why I'm doing this podcast. So as whatever chicanery unfolds, here's where you need to listen. And I don't.
Yes, this is where you need to be. You can subscribe for only $15 a month. If you want a subscription, you'll have exclusive content. Just hit the subscribe button here on X, and I will also be able to get you exclusive content and access to our even more exclusive interactions where you can actually ask Michael to ask me questions.
I'm going to overstate my position, but if you want to know what's really going on, tune into this podcast, because I will not varnish the truth. It'll be the truth, the whole truth as I know it. It'll be direct. I am not a politician. I am not looking for a job. I am not looking for money.
You bet you're not looking for a job or money. You got $6.6 million, buddy. You got a net worth of $6.6 million. Just bought yourself a fancy new mansion on a farm. Yeah, I bet you're not looking for any money or a job. I wouldn't either. You got it. This is your job right here. Dr. freaking Stephen Greer.
And I'm not looking for a political position. I'm going to tell you the truth.
No. You're not looking for well, don't worry about that. You're not going to get one of those.
No matter what. So this is why people need to understand that's my mission. That's my purpose. And I'm wired into enough of this, as you can tell by now, that I'll be able to speak with authority. Wired. So, but there will be a cacophony, a chorus of chaotic attempts to do this. And then the other big risk is that what happened.
Somebody might figure out I'm full of shit. That's the biggest risk, right?
Or what's been happening with the drones, they could put that on steroids. They could launch that into even worse events.
Why wouldn't they? I mean, why wouldn't they when you're out there telling everybody what you're going to do? I mean, why did they not have like internet? The 0 point energy not cover the internet or something? Like, how can they not possibly know what Dr. Stephen Greer is talking about on the first episode of his brand new podcast? You know, on the night where disclosure is supposed to happen. Well, you still got how many days, guys? 15. He's just got 5 days, Steven. We're gonna be watching. I don't know why I froze up right there, but that was for effect. We have 5 days. We're gonna be watching.
But as an emergency doctor, here's the deal. You know, you have a multi
back to being a doctor,
in, right? With
victims. Please
you hope for the
it.
best. But you plan for the worst. You plan for absolutely the worst and all that. So my ethos here is to hope for the best, to be positive, but plan for the worst. And I think that I'm going to be very vigilant to watch what's going on, what kind of spin is put on this by both the UFO subculture and the media,
and us.
What actions start to be taken by this corrupt organization, which is not yet under control. This is going to be, unfortunately, he may not know this yet, although I hope he does by now, that the incoming president's biggest task is going to be this.
Executive order
than the Russia or China problem by far, or the Mideast, by orders of magnitude, a couple of orders of magnitude.
Okay, yeah,
now, that's not quite appreciated. I have met with some senior people in the incoming administration.
Name them.
And I'm not going to talk about those meetings. We've been.
No, you're not going to talk about them, are you?
Doing it very intensively over the last couple of months, but
very intensively.
But that process needs to quicken and step up the pace.
The quickening process. Have you talked to Elon? No, never.
The law enforcement end of this that has not yet been stood up and funded properly needs to get stood up on day one, which of course is Monday. But we'll see. I'm just hoping.
That's why you got to get disclosure out before Monday, Stephen. You better do it so Trump sees it. You better tweet at him. You better X post at him. Just send an X post at him and copy Elon on it.
Hoping in the meanwhile that with enough of the information coming out, that it would become obvious to more and more people in the media and the public if some false flag operations continue. But I can tell you that the flurry of drone events and some of these other things that have happened are not a particularly good prognostic indicator, as we'd say in medicine, that organization is just going to go quietly. This is why I think that it would behoove the incoming president and Congress, as well as leaders elsewhere around the world, to come together and figure out a pathway.
Can you imagine if they did it? Like, what would be the look on his face? Like, okay, Stephen, we've heard your podcast. Now we're going to go ahead and do it. We're bringing you in. We're going to put you in front of the entire nation to talk. Right? Trump gets up there. He's like, I have a very important announcement. Priorities have shifted. They've changed. And right now, I'm going to bring in, I don't really know him yet, but my advisors have been meeting with him. I'm going to bring him in right now. I'm going to give him the mic. I have no idea what he's about to say. Dr. Stephen Greer, why don't you come up here and say a few words? Yeah. Can you imagine if he was actually put on the spot? Like, what might happen? Like I'm saying, man, we should all be coming out as this rogue group of military alien hunters with all the I'm going to come out as them and be like, yeah, it's me. Yep. And for a very large sum of super chat money, I will answer your questions. Nacho Kitty, what's up, man? You missed all the fun. We had a real zebra alert tonight. Yeah, right. Streamy tunes. But I'll be like, yeah, it was me. It was me. I'm the guy he's talking about. He would have to come out and address me and be like, that's not the guy. No, it's me. See, he's been instructed not to acknowledge that it is me for security purposes, because we don't want him or any more of his staff getting hurt. We don't want anything to happen to Michael Mazzoni, Michael Mazzola. He's just, he could get taken out sitting on that deck like any second. We don't want anything to happen to Stephen Greer and his beautiful new mansion and farm that he just purchased. He's worth like $6 million. We don't want anything to happen to him because he's arranging handshakes and debriefing people around the world at all hours of the night. So is now his job. I have instructed him to deny knowing me, but if you just subscribe, like, and share, and I will answer all your questions about when you're going to get your 0-point technology. And if you want to get on the waiting list, you can just sign up to my blog, and I will make sure that you get your own teleporter and your own emulator, so that you can make your own, whatever food you want out of it. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool stuff. But yeah, I'm the guy who's been talking about the entire time. So I'm just gonna get out in front of this and say, yes, it has been me the entire time. And Stephen, you're now off the hook. And you should now deny that it's me for your own safety. I'll take the rest of the heat, guy. Don't worry about it. I got all the technology anyways. I mean, no problem.
Out, including this amnesty concept, that people who need to come forward can do so safely without recriminations and liabilities. I will tell you that there's the former chairman of a Fortune 50 corporation who's reselling, but he's
Fortune 50. Whoa. Now we're really getting into some good stuff. Now, Fortune 50, there's only 50. Can you guess which one? I mean, we had the Fortune 500 and then Fortune 100, man. You get down to Fortune 50. Holy, you're talking about some motherfuckers right there.
He's not only afraid of legal problems, but he's also afraid for the safety of his children and grandchildren. So physical safety.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of mechanisms that need to be put in place that we've been advising literally since the Clinton administration. I hope now that will come to fruition.
I just want what's best for everybody. Is that it? Is that it? We did it. I was having so much fun there at the end. I almost forgot that we were doing it, but we did it. We made it. It's done. Well, so what'd you guys think? Wow. No disclosure, huh? I can't believe it. Well, let me just tell you, this isn't the first time I've been let down by disclosure. But God willing, it'll happen. And woo. We'll have to check back in. Now, we're not done with Steven yet. We're not done with Steven yet. In fact, the fact that he started a new podcast, we can now have the most fun of all, right? And that is out predicting Steven. And like I said, though disclosure is supposed to happen within by the 20th, right? It was actually supposed to happen tonight. So now you're on a 5-day countdown, Stephen. You said 30 days on the 15th last month. It's now been 30 days since that date. Okay. But then you caveated it by saying, or any time before the inauguration, right? So now what we got to do, I know, Sir Frank, but you're on the cutting edge. You're on the cutting edge of technology and understanding what is going on in this world. You're on the cutting edge with the rest of us, and we're just having a blast. So, so here's the thing. We are going to make a prediction, right? We're going to say by next podcast. He said it's weekly podcast. Is that right? Every week turned in. So he had to start it because he has to be out in front of this shit, guys. All right. So, so here's the thing. I think that what the way this is going to play out, right, is something is going to happen between now and Inauguration Day. Now, he may have some dude show up and show some stuff that is totally no way to confirm a damn thing from it, right? He'll be like, this ball of light is made by humans, right? And this guy would be like, oh yeah. I was like, so he may introduce a new grifter to the game, right? Or something's going to happen that's going to prevent the supposed whistleblowers from releasing the information, right? And then I think what's going to happen is it's going to roll back on the Trump administration for not passing the executive orders that they need to pass and making this a priority, right? Obstruction. The deep state is obstructing us. We can't get through to them. I mean, so just let your imaginations run wild, right? But think about all the different ways, right? Nothing new, same old talking points, right? It's the same old thing over and over again. But to think about how he's going to play this out, because this is podcast number 1. And what's the real objective here? To have a podcast where he can talk about this shit, right? Over and over again. This is his game. This is all a game that he's been playing for so long. This is the only one he has. Well, where's he going to go from here? You can't, this is the problem with the UFO rabbit hole and other rabbit holes. You become like flat earthers, right? Like Mark Sargent. Where's he going to go once he's become the face of flat earth? You can't go anywhere. All you can do is go deeper and further and further and further. Well, the good thing about flat earth is they have the whole system of denial, right? But they keep denying things over and over and over again. And it never comes to, you're never going to prove it. And they're never going to listen to you if you do, right? They just keep playing. So they can play that broken record forever. Steven keeps coming up with dates. Says something has to happen. Freaking, you've been at this since the 90s and nothing's happened. And you say you're talking to presidents and his cred's going to go down the hill. But some people get bought into it and they get bought into it at different times, right? All of a sudden you didn't hear about Stephen Greer, but now you have, right? Now you watch something and you're like, man, this is the guy. He's so smart. He knows so much. And all this stuff is blowing my mind. I've never even heard of before. Wow. Wouldn't that be exciting if that's really happening? Boy, I sure would like some of that 0 point energy. Boy, I sure would like my own hologram, my holodeck, you know? I sure would like all this stuff. I sure would like all this bullshit to stop. I sure would like to not have to go to work and earn a wage, you know, try to get by in this inflated economy, you know. I sure would like to have life-saving technologies and to save my alien parents and save my, you know, my own things I don't even know what's going on, you know, from happening. I sure would like to meet some aliens in my lifetime. Wouldn't that be exciting? First generations ever on Earth to ever meet the aliens, you know, to integrate in society. I sure would like to be out from underneath all this threat of nuclear war. I sure would like to understand the universe better. All these things, right? This is all the things he's promising people, right? So he's got to find a way to kick the can down the road and keep the grift going on. Of course, if I was him, I would have freaking been like, you know what? I'm out of here. I got $6 million. Fuck off. You know, I'm going to go retire. I'm 70 years old. I'm sick of this shit. I got 12 grandchildren and I brag about them. That means I got at least 6 kids probably, or 5 kids or whatever, or one really motivated kid. I don't know. But, you know, you got other things to do than sit around and bullshit with people. Right. But you get so it becomes part of your identity. Like, what else is he going to talk about? He goes to dinner, like with his wife, you know, someone wants to talk about freaking aliens and disclosure, right? He's made it his life, his identity and his fortune is his own trap now. So what else is he going to do? Well, I'd rather sit around the house and talk about it once a week with my cabana boy, Michael Mazzula, whatever his name is. You know, wear the nice shorts tonight, Michael. And that's what I'd rather do in my old age. If I have to do this shit. It's like what Joe Walsh said, man, before he plays Rocky Mountain Way. Every time you can go see a concert where Joe Walsh is playing. He goes, well, if I knew I'd be playing this song the rest of my life, I would have written a better song. Here we go. Rocky Mountain Way. Yeah. Every time. It's so funny. It's the best line in rock and roll. It's one of the best lines. Sir Frank, because if we're talking about aliens from Uranus, a week is 17 hours of the Earth time, but they are from Pluto, it would take about 10 days. Yeah, 24 watching, only 7 Rumble. Come on, Rumble, smash that for us, please. It's a Rumble, man. People don't understand the Rumble algorithm is all about the thumbs up. Please help us, man. I know you want to hit the thumbs up, man, because you want disclosure too. And I'm here to tell you that I have, I've been the guy he's talking about the whole time. It's been me. I apologize for keeping such a charade going all these years, trying to open people's mind to the grifts that are going on in the world. That was my deep cover. And now I'm here to tell you that it's all real. And what you need to do is subscribe, like, and come back to every single show that I do, because it's so important. Your life may just depend on it. And if you have any money, send it, right? Because that shows me that you're in the fight. We're good, right? And what we need to do is take this thing to the next level and show those bad guys we mean business, right? That's what we're gonna do, right? Let's see, what did you do here? What's this? I'm glad I never took drugs as a young one. Shit, I still don't even like over-the-counter drugs. You're solid, dude. Solid. You see some silly things out there. When I was young and stupid, I never saw an alien. I got robbed though. Yep, the same old thing. Get your zebra alert stickers, shirts, mugs, and pet bandana. Nah. Did you really make a zebra alert stuff? Are you swiping my gig here? You gotta be kidding me. Oh my God. You did it. You did it. Cat chat. Ellie's orbs life matter. So every time somebody comes up with something, you make it. The zebra alert. Cute. Oh, look at the pet bandana. Oh my God. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my sweetness. Okay. This is just adorable. Have you guys seen this? Let me just put it up here since we're just bullshitting right now. I feel like I talked all night long. I didn't get to talk to you guys so much. So I hope you enjoyed it. Send the money. Yeah, please. Yeah. I need to be a multimillionaire so I can fight the alien, the bad people. Like, I used to work for them and I realized, hey, this is unconstitutional. And so I said no more. And yeah, you can get a dog bandana. Oh God, it's white zone. Do you have a dark mode on this thing? It's like, honestly, even if I didn't want to, I'd still wear sunglasses because I just don't like, I'm not a bright light person. I'm not a bright light person. I know you've probably heard that before from other people, but there we go. Makes it a little better. You can get a zebra alert bandana. We got all kinds of things. Feel free to use my logo or anything you want to with the zebra alert on it. It could be yours, and it may just save your life. And you just have to go to Shelly's shop and start clicking on stuff that says zebra alert. You can get a notebook. You take notes at work, don't you? Yeah, that's what you want right there. Tags, zebra, alien, and Greer. Don't be caught unprepared. Get your zebra alert gear right here. And so look, you can get caught. You get a camper mug. Why am I looking over there? Okay, because I have to scroll. That's right. Yeah, you can get that. You can get a water bottle. You can get a baseball shirt that's unisex, with your zebra alert on it. Oh, look at this stylish little thing right here. Goes great with your fade haircut from the 80s. And away we go. Check this out. Oh yeah. Zebra alert. Okay. There you have it. So don't be caught unprepared. Get your stuff right there today. And every dollar that you spend goes towards fighting the bad guys from taking over the planet with their alien technology. And you can count on me. I work for Stephen Greer. I'd never mislead you, and neither would he, because he's a special guy. I know what alien time he's working in toy. It must be Venus time 1 week is 1700 Earth days. I see. So you're saying that his 3 days may be different from ours, right? You're saying that is the case. You're saying that is the case. I get it. Okay. Is that better? Okay. That's better. That's just weird being so close to monitors. You got to kind of watch what you put on screen. Like, it changes everything, constantly shifting. Okay. Laugh out loud toy. Where are we at? We're 3 hours, 30 minutes in. You guys still having a great time? We're still having a great time because disclosure is fun. Man, we just need like 3 more likes to get to 30. 30 has been the new average, and I want to keep it that way. I'd like to keep it that way. So if you haven't checked in yet on the old thumbs up here on the YouTube side, I appreciate it. Rumble, what's going on? I got 22 watching, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed the broadcast this evening. Who is still out there and doing things? It's just I just updated it, right? Okay, yeah. I don't see anybody out there tonight. Let's see. I don't know what people are doing. What time is it? It's 11:38. Holy cow. Look at that. I kept y'all late. We went past the wolf's bedtime and everything. We did it. But you know what? I feel like there's still more to do here. And I don't really have anything going on for Unveiling Reality anyways. So if you guys enjoy these deep dives, I don't know how much Stephen Greer we can really consume, but I want to see this narrative through. Of course, because I'm part of it, it's all about the fact that I've been working for Black Ops Special Unit Underground. Let me tell you guys, the alien technology is so cool. It is so cool. Hold on a second. Yeah, it is so freaking cool, man. And I can't wait for you guys to have it. You just got to become members of the channel. Channel members get a little taste. We call it a little taster. And the military term for that is a tastola. And you get a little tastola. Right. And then when we do rollout, you guys are at the top of the list for the big stuff. So what'll happen is that you'll have these drones. Basically what happened is we'll have you clear out an area in your garage or some other place in your house if you don't have a garage. And then we will just beam you the technology, and you'll get like our technology of the month club, basically first in, right? And then technology of the month club, you'll get some of the newest and latest reverse engineered alien technology delivered to you via transporter every month. Now, we may run into some issues early on, but keep those payments coming in because 0 point energy ain't free. Right? But it is free, but it takes some money to run it. All right. But the energy is free. So once you get the 0 point energy technology, then you get the free energy. But up until then, you have to pay for shipping and delivery. We don't use 0 point. You can't use 0 point technology for teleporter, and you can't put the shit on a bus or a delivery truck or a train or anything like that, because it'll set off radioactive gauges, and it'll set off. It's not really radioactive, but the detectors don't know the difference, and then you'll go into full nuclear meltdown alert, right? So we don't want to have that happen. But running technology like the transporters, you can't run that in 0 point energy. It's something different. It's quantum entanglement energy from the 7th dimension, and that costs money. That costs money to get that here, right? We're not quite to the point where in the 7th dimension that that is free, but we're working on that because we got to have the ultra 0 point energy. 7th dimension 0 point energy. It's not been discovered yet, and we haven't gotten there. We're working on it. Right? These are all things that you can figure out and learn more about if you subscribe to this great channel, and you become a high-paying member. You'll be the first one to get this awesome technology, and you'll be the first to know when aliens disclosure happens. And that's what you want to keep coming back and doing. Take it from me. I'm Stephen Greer's super secret source from inside the government. Oh yeah. And by the way, in case you didn't know, I have you can take those Atom computers from back in the 80s, and those really were AI. There's a switch in the back you got to hit, and that's one of those little secrets. So if you have any of those left over, do that. And if not, I can sell you one for a pretty substantial price. All right. No, we're gonna get that at 6 million mark too. God dang it. 0 point energy, $6 million man, all that stuff. I'm just rambling on, having some fun. Wouldn't it be great if you were a grifter? With RFK Jr., looks like the FDA is going to ban the red dye in our foods and drinks. Just saw that a few minutes ago. That's good news. Speaking of good news, winning Saturday night. Good news of the week. We'll probably have some stuff about that and more. Good night, K-Mar. K Marshall, you're here the whole time listening to me ramble. I hope you're excited for disclosure. It's coming really quickly. Nah, as predicted, nothing happened tonight, and I don't think anything's gonna happen before the inauguration. But let's just try to see where the grift goes next, huh? All right, guys. I want to thank you guys for being here for this ride tonight. I've kept you long enough. I'm gonna let you get back to your evening, and I will see you tomorrow, 7:30ish, maybe, for winning tonight. And we'll go over some stuff, top news and updates and shit like that. We'll figure something out. All right. I'll see you then, guys. Thank you so much. And think about whether you want me to cover Rubio on Friday, and then bring your idea, your vote tomorrow night, and we'll figure it out then. But until that time, everybody, stay based and keep on winning.
This is a friendship that'll never